What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here, man, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, that's gonna make us question everything. Seekers, sit back, let's do what we do best. Seekers, say it with me, y'all. Yeah, I know what we do. Let's seek the truth.
Ever since CERN shut down on June 29th, 2026, has not been the same. Tell me I'm not tripping. You can call me crazy all you want, but a lot of people have been saying the same thing I've been thinking. Time feel like it's moving twice as fast. Monday turns to Friday before you even know it. Everything just feel weird. Everything feel off. People keep talking about they having weird ass deja vus, weird ass dreams. They keep looking at the clock and noticing the same time every time they look at the clock. And they're not doing it on purpose. It's crazy, fool. I'm not saying everybody is experiencing this, but I'm saying there's a lot of people experiencing this. The reality that they're feeling, they like, nah, something is off, bruh. You got people talking about their pets is doing shit they never did before. You got people recording birds doing shit that they never done before, flying in patterns they never done before. You see animals in places you never seen before. We all know how it was when they powered the joint up, but now we're experiencing how it feel when they power the joint down. You cannot ignore this, bruh. It's not like a couple thousand people feeling the same way. You got millions of people feeling this. My whole question is, why are they really shutting this shit down for 4 years? Did they f something up? Did they open a portal that they didn't want open? Somebody explain, bruh. And let me know if you've been feeling weird and what you've been feeling down below in the comments.
Seekers, tell me down below, man. Ever since CERN turned off the machine, bro, have you guys felt anything weird, man? Like a shift in your reality, bro? I definitely been seeing some new Mandela effects, man. Especially the one with Chick-fil-A that pops up all the time, bro. It's a K now instead of a C. Like I said, bro, ever since CERN turned off that machine, some weird things have been going down. I'm gonna keep my eyes posted. Field, I mean, for to see any new clips I can find for you guys.
May I help you? Like, do we got a problem?
This photo was taken in September 2019. I was taking a very poor photo of a friend on the couch from a distance and didn't notice the running girl until the next day. When I posted the photo on Facebook, it became very popular, and a security guard from that bar sent me the second photo. I don't know what to make of it.
Ghost, maybe?
And this is what happens when we try to sit down to eat. Move, Rocket. Look. Rocky, the chair's moving.
That's weird.
He doesn't even believe me.
It's not unusual.
Oh, he used to
Nixon
it.
actually picked up a phone in 1969 and spoke live to two men standing on the moon. What kind of device were those astronauts holding on the other end? Because Wi-Fi didn't exist, cell towers didn't exist, and the nearest Verizon store was 238,000 miles away. And here's what makes it even stranger. The same government that couldn't reliably connect a phone call from New York to Los Angeles in 1969 somehow patched through a crystal clear, zero-lag conversation to outer space to two guys in bulky suits on a rock with no atmosphere, no signal infrastructure, and no charging port in sight. But wait, if the moon has no air, no magnetic field, and sits in a vacuum of dead silence, what exactly was carrying that voice signal? Because sound needs a medium to travel. So how did Nixon's voice reach the moon at all? Here's where it gets real uncomfortable. In 1969, the most advanced consumer phone technology on Earth was a rotary dial connected to a copper wire bolted into your wall. NASA's own internal communication system.
Interesting. Oh, they got drones ready to rock and roll. Dog drones. Yeah, it's scary times, man.
Famous French astrologer André Barbeau once said that 2026 was the beginning of the new civilization. And he had a very strong track record in terms of predictions. He predicted that in 2020 there would be a global pandemic. He also predicted the fall of the Soviet Union decades before it happened. And in the last years of his life, he focused a lot on July 2026 as the relaunch of a new civilization. And his take was extremely positive. He called it the most beautiful alignment of the 21st century, and that with it, the new age will have begun. Barbeau died in 2019, so he never lived to see some of his iconic predictions come to fruition. And in his absence, many astrologers have argued about the highly positive interpretation of the alignment in July 2026. They question whether it should be viewed in this kind of like new age spirituality, love and light, dawning of the age of Aquarius perspective, or if we should view it as the beginning of a dystopic, surveillance technological state. And if you know me, you know that I'm going to say it's a little bit of both.
You know, that's exactly what I was about to say, man. I think I fall in that same category as well as both, man. You know, more people waking up, man. Or I guess of our theories, bro, being confirmed in this year of 2026, man. But it's also a crazy year as well. So tell me down below, Seekers, man. Do you guys think 2026 is gonna be a new start, bro, of a new generation of old people, man, waking up?
Just had an RFID chip implanted.
As one does.
As one does. If you can feel it right here, there's a little chip in there, but
cool.
It's made by a company called Dangerous Things, which is a great marketing, right?
Yeah.
But this is the more advanced one, so I put it in so I can open my Tesla with it and, like, you know, wave in front of the elevator.
Check out with Apple Pay.
Exactly. I want my, you know, actually, I will not put my my crypto keys on this because then my hand is at risk.
Yes. And then how long will the batteries last?
It's not battery. It's a near field. So basically, an electric current comes in.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah. So anyway, that was fun. It was an hour ago. So you guys said keep it compressed.
You got that willingly? Couldn't be me.
What the hell is that? It's literally melting off. I cannot make this up, mate.
It's melting.
That is crazy. Look how soft. Oh my god, it's so soft. All of this. Don't do it. Oh yeah, let's go. Fucking hell.
We're at a point right now where we can't tell if these videos that people have been posting about aliens are real or fake. James Franco just posted some shit that I can't tell if it's real or fake because it looks too real. Now, mind you, before I show you this video, I need you to know, people close to James Franco has been saying that James Franco has been acting different. He's been online claiming that people are following him. He made numerous videos saying that people hacked his accounts. And then he made videos saying that he was going to show us something on July 13th. And look what he posted.
The day is here, 7/13. That's July 13th, today. I promised you I was going to reveal something because I found something.
Listen.
It was thrust upon me. I didn't ask for this. People have said I'm crazy. I've been through a lot. My account got hacked twice.
Listen.
Twice, people trying to shut me down so that I don't get this out. Okay, enough. Here we go. 7/13. You wanted it. Here it is. I delivered.
Look at this. Look at this. What's that? I had to zoom in on this video for you. Now I need to ask you a question. What do you think that is? Look at that right there. Mind you, he's saying that was at his window. Look. Now you're going to have a lot of people say that he's an actor. And yes, he is an actor. But he's been acting real strange lately. Maybe it is an act. Or maybe it's not. But what if it's not? I'm out.
Like you said, man, I can read some of the comments on those the clips. They were saying it's movie promotion for a movie, so you shouldn't take it seriously. But what happens if it's just a slither of the truth that they putting in front of our faces, man, and we not picking up on it, bro? It definitely looked like one of the Greys, bro. You know, that's one of the alien types, archetypes they revealed this year, one of the 4. My guess is it's one of the Greys, bro. They watching them. I don't know what's going on between James Franco and the Greys, man, but he needs to solve it real quick.
Back in the late 1800s to the early 1900s, when farmers dug up the large and out-of-place mounds they found in their fields, the so-called Indian mounds, they came across very large bones. Some of the skulls they found, well, they had 2 rows of teeth. And some of the reconstructed skeletons measured over 12 feet tall. Even President Lincoln, he said, "The eyes of that species of extinct giants whose bones fill the mountains of America have gazed on Niagara as ours do now." One of my questions has always been, what's the purpose of keeping people in the dark about other cultures and civilizations from the deep past of Earth? It doesn't take long to engineer the memory of people and make them believe something totally different, something untrue. Back then, most were convinced, based off evidence, mind you, that there was a race of giants who roamed the Earth.
White House has just released the 4th batch of the UFO files. Here's some of the most interesting ones. First up is this flying object over the Atlantic Ocean recorded in 2020. It appears to be getting closer to whatever sensor is recording this, and even with it paused, I cannot tell you what this is at all. This next one I think is slightly more compelling, taken in the South China Sea, and we can see that it almost looks like a bunch of lights together flying as one formation. To me, the formation and the individual dots almost looks like a group of birds, although I'm not sure how those would look on a sensor like this. And here is the coolest of the bunch, and the one that you saw in the intro. An aircraft with a flying wing design, and it has a little bubble here for a cockpit, so it's obviously manned. But unfortunately, we've seen this aircraft before. This was developed in 1938 by the Germans, and after being damaged in storage, they actually destroyed it before it was ever flown. But that's it. Let me know if you found anything interesting in these files and what you think of the ones I showed in this video.
Last one was crazy. No way.
That's why I've been stopped eating fucking potatoes.
I'm thinking the potatoes is safe. What am I supposed to do?
None of the food is safe.
It's foul. It's almost like, it's just like plastic. And it tastes just like plastic.
That's not food. Y'all, I'm traumatized and I don't know what I'm gonna do. Why the hell is this cheese not melting? What's going on? What are they feeding us?
Guys, I don't think chocolate's supposed to look like this. Why is it so, like, elasticy?
Almost like plastic. You see? It's like layers of...
This is supposed to be an orange, and I can squeeze it and it puffs right back up like a sponge.
It looks like a steak, right? But why? It's falling apart.
That's 3D.
Okay, so I'm washing chicken. Why is it pulling apart like that?
Man, stop buying Walmart chicken. This is a lesson learned. Look at this. You know how when you pick a dog up by his neck or...
Gotta watch what food we eat, man. All those fake mash, bro. Yeah, she got that awful cigarette buds.
Yeah, this is the type of meat y'all eat in America, bro. Somebody said, oh, it's a cute steak, bro. It's supposed to look like that. Yeah, enjoy that. That shit look like 3D printed meat, bro. Come on, bro. I've never seen no meat look like that. Pause.
Gnomes, they were in charge of the genealogies, the knowledge, and the technologies, and they would kidnap people.
People say they are responsible for taking people through portals, disappearances, missing 411.
So when we look at the different types of elves, these are the dark elves. White elves are part of the pale white bloodline. It's an allegory for the giants. So when they show up in the Lord of the Rings, these are the royal elves. They have these very pale skin. They have red hair, blue eyes.
Are these genetic offspring of the Watchers, or are they going to be part of what we consider to be sort of like the angelic race?
They would be subject to the same issues that the giants. When their body dies, that spirit is released. It doesn't go to heaven.
So there's like a vast variety of demons.
It's the elementals that are obsessed with DNA and keeping their bodies alive, whereas the giants disappeared into our race.
Mosaics are from a land beyond the ice wall, and our realm is a prison.
From the ice wall, bro?
Well, Secretary of War Hegseth just got a live demonstration of directed energy weapons. He says the Pentagon intends to buy tens to hundreds of these in the coming years. Directed energy weapons fire concentrated energy at the speed of light.
These have been used for a while, and they can be debilitating. I think the president kind of let it slip that we used some of the stuff when we went in there to get Maduro.
And he went on to call it discombobulator. But Eric, we don't want the discombobulator to be used domestically. How easy is it for someone who wants to do harm to use this kind of technology against Americans?
Oh, all too easy. These weapons seem to be in the hands of many factions that are operating without oversight. So this is an absolute threat. The Department of War lied about this for many years, saying they didn't know what was causing Havana syndrome. They said they had no idea. Nobody has this technology. Well, guess what? The Department of War this year stated, we possess directed energy weapons and we're scaling them up.
You're telling me that Chick-fil-A deleted all their videos on their TikTok account after we found out that their logo changed back to CHICK, and now they posted a recent one that says our plan is working, and you expect me to believe that y'all never posted before March 16th on a Chick-fil-A corporate account? So the CERN particle collider shuts off. Everybody starts to notice that it's CHICK now instead of CHIC. Chick-fil-A notices, either deletes their videos or all their videos literally go missing, and now they're gaslighting us, making us believe that they knew this all along and that it was planned. I'm not believing it for 1 second. Where is John Kiriakou when we need him, bro? We need someone who is in the CIA to explain what the hell is going on, because I'm freaking out.
Man, Chick-fil-A was not CK, bro. It was always stopped at C, man. I'm not gonna get gaslit to believe it, bro, that K, man. Mandela effect, bro. It's trying to work its magic, but it ain't gonna work on me.
The thing about the ice wall is, this is what separates us from extraterrestrial creatures and extraterrestrial lands. They tell you the real world map looks like this, to divide us up and to make things look bigger than they are. But the real world map should look something like this. Each specific land has its own ice wall, and there are extraterrestrial lands and creatures outside of each specific land. The only reason they're coming out about aliens and ETs being real is only because ETs exist beyond the ice wall, not in space. And it's far more likely for ETs and other creatures to exist beyond this ice wall and to come to our land. And they know this, and this is why they have conferences about ETs, because they're not in space. They're beyond the ice wall, or really, really, really deep in the ocean. We're also in the age of Aquarius, so more information and unknown things will be shown to us. And they know that. They're just only preparing us for it.
I mean, we saw that earlier clip. So it definitely has to be connection,
How far
right?
off are we from age reversal? 1 decade, 5 decades?
Way less than that. Way less than that. We are in clinical trials now on several of these cocktails. Every cell in our body has the same DNA. But what makes my eye look and act differently than my skin? Those cells are different because the genes in the DNA are on or off. As we get older, it looks like what happens is we have DNA breaks. DNA gets damaged from radiation and sunlight and bad eating and alcohol and all the other. As those DNA breaks happen, your cell actually fixes the DNA. It's very good at fixing it. Every time the DNA gets fixed, there's a chance that those ones and zeros, those ons and offs, get moved around a little bit. And as they get moved around over time, they get moved to the wrong place. And then that cell stops working. A whole bunch of other little molecules that we can put into a cocktail. Either we're going to drink it, take it as a shot, or take it as a pill. It will get into our cells and it will reset the epigenetic of that cell to make it young again. These proteins can be continuously made and released inside our body as they're needed. So we maintain our youth and we will live theoretically for as long as we want. That's where this is headed.
What is going on here? Does anybody else find this picture to be a little bizarre? This is a picture promoting Justin Bieber performing at the FIFA World Cup 2026 finale halftime show. And again, does anybody else besides me find this picture to be bizarre? I know I can't be the only one out there that finds this to be a little strange. Why would they use a picture like this right here? Because it almost looks like it's representing something else when you actually look at the image. And Justin Bieber posted this on his social media. So can you all explain to me what is going on here? And again, I know I can't be the only one out there that finds this to be bizarre.
Symbolism. Okay. Y'all see the teeth?
A massive earthquake just hit the Philippines, and tsunami warnings are now active across the Pacific. The quake struck off the coast of Mindanao in southern Philippines, first reported at 8.2, but USGS revised that down to 7.8. When a big quake hits, agencies push out those numbers quickly and then review them when the data comes in. Tsunami warnings have been issued for the Philippines, Indonesia, and Japan. Officials are telling people in coastal zones to get out of the water, stay away from beaches and harbors right now. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center is assessing a possible threat to Hawaii. If waves do come in, the earliest they'll arrive is just before midnight local time in Hawaii. This quake is extra dangerous because it was shallow, 35 kilometers deep, exactly the kind of depth that shoves a lot of water and makes tsunamis. This region sits on the Philippine Sea Plate, one of the most violent collision zones on Earth, which has produced over 250 quakes above magnitude 7. If you're anywhere on the Pacific coast tonight, do check your local tsunami warning center because waves can keep coming in for hours. I hope everyone is safe as always, and I'll see you in the comments. Take care.
Man, we having a lot of quakes this year, bro. And that's not a good sign, man. Seekers, anybody in those areas, brand affected, sending prayers to them. Crazy work, man. Everything gone, bro.
They're watching your kids, and if you see a school bus at 2 a.m., they've already been through your neighborhood twice, and they already know which child to take. People were terrified after several areas started to show a school bus driving through neighborhoods at 2:17 a.m., appearing to pick up kids, all in the same area where over 32,000 kids have gone missing, and the number keeps going up. Haunting reports showed the bus with the school's name scratched off, driving slowly through residential neighborhoods and sitting outside of homes, seemingly waiting for something or someone, all at 2 in the morning until 4, with many now warning it is likely someone who sees your child every day. But it gets much worse, as not only are no Amber Alerts being sent out, but authorities have yet to investigate, with parents saying their kids went missing after getting into a school bus, but then authorities telling them that there's no issue and nothing to worry about. While it's most likely a privately purchased bus that we are seeing, which by law must have all school markings removed.
Locals call him the Mexican Batman, but after 10 days of vigilante justice, the person police are looking for is him. Lagos de Moreno has been one of Mexico's most dangerous cities for years, and locals are fed up with authorities not doing anything. So one mysterious man has been fighting crime himself and absolutely embarrassing the criminals. At night, he's been catching motorcycle thieves, tapes them to lampposts, draws whiskers on their face, writes "rat" on their forehead, and leaves a motorcycle next to them as evidence before vanishing. In the past 10 days, it's happened 5 times, but the police are treating the suspects as victims and are now actively hunting Batman.
You realize I've got Batman, bro, in the big 2026, bro. That's crazy, bro. And they trying to arrest him, man. Man, bro. Can you believe it? Batman, bro. 2026, man. A real one at that, too.
Just announced that they're building a necklace. This isn't jewelry. It's a microphone that you wear around your neck and records every conversation that you have. Meta acquired a startup called Limitless. They already make this exact product. It's pretty much a pendant that clips to your shirt and records everything you say and hear. A recent internal memo from Meta's VP of Wearables says that they want to sell around 10 million wearable devices by the end of 2026. They already have your photos, your messages, your friend list, and your location, but your conversations were the last thing they didn't own. There's a Black Mirror episode about this called The Entire History of You. In this episode, everyone wears a device that records every single memory you have every day of your life. Each conversation, Meta's building the same thing, except you don't need surgery. You just clip it on. If you want to stay updated on more dystopian tech news, then sign up for my free newsletter through the link in my bio. But as always, think about it, let me know what you think, follow me.
Is that pineapple? What the hell? Pineapple can stand up to 1,000 degrees Celsius. I never do that until now. That's the blowtorch, man. No progress, bro. That is crazy work, man. Bananas too? What the? No way.
This video was recorded 2 days ago in Spain. Can somebody please explain to me what happens in this video? Check this out, y'all. Watch this. What is that? Or what was that? What is that or what was that, y'all? I'm gonna zoom in and slow it down. Check this out, y'all. What is this? This is in Spain. You can see an outline of something, but you can't really tell what it is. You can see an outline of something there, right? Look, you can see the colors bouncing off of this, but you can't even tell what it is, and then boom, it disappears. What? This photograph is very strange. This guy is a regular photographer. He's always looking up in the sky. I've got some great videos from this guy. And just the other night, he's taking pictures of the sky, and then he heard something, and then he looks up, he takes a video of it. He couldn't see what it was, and then he goes into his lab, and then this is what he finds. What is this, y'all? What is that? It's not a rocket. It can't be a rocket because a rocket follows the path of a straight line. So what is this? What is creating this art in the sky, y'all? Now I zoomed in a little bit more to see if it helped. It helps a little bit, but we still can't see what is going on there. But does anybody has any explanation for this? This is crazy. But yes, Valdosta, Georgia. Did anybody else see this in the sky? Please let us know down in the comments below. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. And let's continue to get this shift, y'all. Peace in.
The man behind me built a homemade cage for his head to stop smoking. He then gave his wife the keys and only she could open it during meals. The man's name is Ibrahim Yücel. He is a Turkish man. He was smoking 2 packs daily for 26 years and decided he wanted to stop one day. So he built a homemade cage out of copper. In my opinion, this thing looks like a torture device. And he didn't just wear this at home. He wore this outside, going to work, running his errands. He was dedicated to stop smoking. He started doing this in 2013, and I believe he is still doing this to this day. The only thing he could get through the cage was a straw from a bottle of water and maybe some crackers. He designed it in a way that you couldn't even sneak a cigarette inside there. He definitely knew he would be having withdrawals and planned this accordingly. Down here is a picture of his wife unlocking the cage for him, and over here is more of a close-up photo of the cage. And then here's a picture of him with the cage off right here. He's talking on the phone. I'm assuming he's having a meal and he's just chatting away. But honestly, props to him. If it works, it works. I'm not sure if I have any followers from Turkey, but if I do, let me know if you've seen this guy around. And let me know what you think about this story.
Weird facts.
Have you seen that before?
If you're coughing uncontrollably, just raise your hands above your shoulder and it will stop. Did you know that TikTok doesn't let you type Area 51? When crossing the street at night, turn on your phone's flashlight and point it toward oncoming traffic. If you think you're being followed, turn right 4 times, since you'll get to the same place they shouldn't be following you anymore. If they do, you might be in trouble. Don't walk down the stairs with hands in your pockets. If you type your big forehead, you get a warning. Blue color attracts mosquitoes and 2 times more than any other. Strawberries can also be white and yellow. Some even can taste like pineapples. You can't unalive yourself by holding your breath. If you search these coordinates on Google Maps, you will find a man dragging a body. Follow for more.
Really?
Nobody in the entire world can visit this island. Okay, so majority of Americans don't know about the Forbidden Island in Hawaii that is owned by one single family and nobody could visit. The island is called Niihau and it's extremely different from anything else in the United States. There is only a population of 70 people and they have no access to paved roads, telephone service, no running water, and the majority of the island lives off welfare checks from the US government. And with such harsh living conditions, it makes you wonder why anybody would even live on this island. And the real question is, if there's nothing to hide here, why can't anybody visit? Well, this rule that doesn't allow any outsiders onto the island was actually written into the agreement by the natives when they sold it to the Robinson family, all the way back in 1864.
Way back.
The Robinson family bought the island for $10,000 in gold, which is $325,000 today. And the crazy thing is that this family still owns the island. The Robinsons are also very focused on preserving the Hawaiian culture on this island that the natives did, so they go to church every Sunday, banned long hair for men, and kept the official Hawaiian language. But my whole opinion on this island is that if nobody can visit there and there's only 70 people on it, there's gotta be some crazy stuff going on there, right? There's just no way these 70 people are just completely normal living on this isolated island that nobody could visit. Let me know your thoughts on this, and also let me know if you've ever heard of this.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. There's a 1 in 3 chance police will never identify your killer if you were murdered in the United States. If the sun exploded now, you wouldn't know about it for another 8 minutes. 20% of children report hearing voices. There are 40 supervolcanoes around the world capable of claiming 1 billion lives. And we are about 24,000 years overdue for an eruption. The air you breathe in train stations is 15% human skin. There are over 200 dead bodies on top of Mount Everest, because retrieving them is such a risk. They serve as markers for other hikers. When you die, your house cat is going to want to eat you. Speaking of pets, dogs like squeaky toys because they mimic the screams of their prey. Yeah, there's a lot more. Like for part 2.
I know why my dog loves the squeaky toy so much. I never knew that. Be careful when you buy your squeaky toys for your dogs now.
Insane True Stories of Now.
Morbid facts about Mike Tyson, Part 2. While visiting a zoo in the late 1980s, Tyson noticed an alpha silverback gorilla bullying all the others. He offered the zookeeper 10 grand to open the gorilla cage so that he could go in there and smash that silverback's snot box. Luckily for the gorilla, the worker declined the offer. Here's a 1997 photo of Las Vegas police facing Mike Tyson after he'd just bitten off the ear of Evander Holyfield. Tyson claimed he was in a primal blacked out state and literally wanted to kill his opponent. Mike had 6 biological children, but his little girl Exodus tragically died when she was only 4 years old. In 2009, Exodus was playing on a treadmill when she accidentally died from strangulation after falling and catching her neck on a power cord. 3 years after signing with Don King, Tyson didn't even know that he had a fan club. When he finally went there, he found a letter from a woman asking if Tyson could call her dying little boy. Tyson immediately called, hung up, cursed out Don King, then started to cry. He said that the call was 1 year too late.
If you were someone that...
Man, those freaking facts about Mike Tyson. He went through a lot in his life, man. Because you guys know what happened between that Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight. How some people said they kind of didn't live up to the hype, but I guess he did what he needed to do, man. I guess to get that money.
You know, has small children, please watch this video until the end because it could save their life. Basically, Bobby baby pillows are being recalled after suffocating 8 children to their end. What happened was that these 8 children were laid down to sleep on these pillows and woke up lifeless. The recall includes the original, preferred, and Pottery Barn Kids Bobby baby pillows, and if you own any of these, you can take them to a local store for a refund. These are being recalled all the way back from 2004 to September of this year, so if you own any of these from any of those years, you might be at risk. So please, never put any babies or young children to sleep in any of these, and if you know anyone with young children, please send them this video so they don't miss this life-saving information.
That's insane.
Give you hope.
This woman swept out to sea while at the beach was rescued after 37 hours of drifting over 50 miles in an inflatable swim ring. Overdoses have decreased for the first time in over 5 years. This stranger saved a 4-year-old from a flying puck at a hockey game. Every country has now banned the use of leaded gasoline in cars, with Algeria being the last one a couple years ago. Bruno was able to get a fresh start and a new life after 473 days in a shelter. A study of over 2 million people found that eating cheese is healthy for aging because of the lower stress that you experience in life. The amount of sugar consumed by kids in the United Kingdom halved in 1 year after a sugar tax was introduced. Scientists have developed a glowing dye that sticks to cancer cells, which helps scientists prevent cancer from coming back. This nearly extinct pupfish has hit a 25-year high with their population. There are less than 200 of them in one single cave in the Mojave Desert of Nevada.
Here are 3 real ways to survive Ohio. The land of Ohio is a mysterious pocket dimension located within the continental United States that is widely regarded as being one of the most dangerous places known to man. With that being said, the easiest way to guarantee your survival of this state is to simply avoid visiting it altogether. This should be a relatively easy task since no one actually lives in Ohio. Remember, if you think you have family or friends to visit there, that's just the demons whispering in your ear, and those thoughts should be ignored entirely. Secondly, if you do somehow wind up in this desolate place, remember to ignore the locals at all costs. Their lonely state might inspire you to take pity on them and engage them in conversation, but be warned, if you speak to them, you will become as they are. Finally, above all else, you'll need to try and keep moving at all times in one direction. Time and space work differently in the state of Ohio, and it may feel like you've been walking in circles for hours or even days. But remember, every step that you take is a step closer to freedom. Leave a comment if you're enjoying this series, and if you know anyone from Ohio, tag them. It might help them escape.
Any of you guys know anybody from Ohio? I only know LeBron James, man. That's I do comes from Ohio, but I guess this TikTok, bro, wants us to avoid it, man. And because they be Ohio, Skippity Riz, Gyat, whatever, man. I think it originated there, bro. Oh, man, those TikToks, bro. Probably crazy, man, in Ohio, bro. Imagine walking down the street, somebody yelling, Gyat Skibbity, bro. Oh, man. Interesting. Where is it at? They brought like a whole setup.
Did you know that Art the Clown played the Grinch in a horror movie? Yes, there is a horror slasher version of the Grinch, and it's called The Mean One. The story follows Cindy Lou Who after the Grinch kills her parents, and she grows up and she decides that she's going to make it her life's mission to kidnap the Grinch and to kill him for what he did to her. And Art the Clown himself, David Howard Thornton, plays the horror version of the Grinch, The Mean One, and he brings so much personality to the character even through all of the paint and prosthetics. Like, look at these cool shot comparisons. This is the original Grinch, and here we have the horror version of the Grinch. The Mean One is definitely considered a horror comedy, so keep that in mind if you choose to watch it. It's also extremely bloody and extremely silly, which I feel like you would expect. My favorite part of the movie is when Cindy Lou Who, as a child, is being interviewed by cops to try to get an idea of what this guy looks like. The sketch artist draws the little girl's description and then in all seriousness is like, "Sweetie, is this what he looked like?" It's really funny that David Howard Thornton has gotten to play a horror version of Santa as Art the Clown, and he's also gotten to be a horror version of the Grinch. Pretty cool.
Why you should always respect Mother Nature.
You should, of course, never do what this guy did in that video, and viewer discretion advised for this one because there's no happy ending here. The man in the video that I showed you is 28-year-old Jacob Cockle. Jacob's passion was surfing and pretty much anything ocean related, so he felt like the water was his element. This is likely why Jacob thought he would be able to best a whirlpool when it came to swimming by it. Initially, when Jacob jumped into the whirlpool, nothing went wrong. There were about 28 minutes of footage of him floating around on top, and this is because he had the safety of a wetsuit. Wetsuits trap a lot of air, they're very buoyant, and they're made out of neoprene. This particular whirlpool was not strong enough to take Jacob down when he's floating on the surface. However, Jacob made a grave mistake. At one point or another, Jacob decided that it would be a good idea to dive underwater to get more footage. This caused the buoyancy of his suit to drop, and the whirlpool became strong enough and sucked him down. Jacob was unfortunately not able to escape from the whirlpool's grasp.
Photos with disturbing backstories.
Stay out the water, man. Photos tell a story every single time, man. That's why I always pay attention to them, bro. That's an edit. She do that. We expert level now, bro.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. Sometimes you laugh, talk, and cry in sleep. It's often a spirit sitting beside you in bed. You are more likely to be bitten by someone in New York than to be bitten by a shark. A human head remains conscious for 20 seconds after being decapitated. If you search up this number on Google, you'll find people with their heads in fridges. Gelatin is made out of bones. That's right. The melted marshmallow in your hot chocolate is melted animal bone. It's good stuff. You have no way of really knowing if everyone experiences reality and consciousness the same way you do. If a panda finds a fresh carcass, they'll eat it. And last but not least, your phone is likely spying on you right now as you're watching this. Yeah, there's a lot more. Like for part 8.
Cover your camera on your phone, bro. You go to sleep.
Myths you still believe about Canada. Canadians see snow year-round. Well, the truth is that though the winters can be harsh, most of the country's population experiences summers that can make a Californian sweat. Most Canadians live near the Canada-US border and thus experience similar weather to what you'd expect in places like Boston or New York. Toronto is the capital of Canada. Well, Toronto does have the largest population and is probably the most famous Canadian city, but it's actually Ottawa, another Ontario city, that's the capital. As the center of political power, Queen Victoria chose Ottawa to be Canada's capital on December 31st, 1857. It was determined that with its location being on the border between Canada East and Canada West, its excellent defensive position and its access to 2 different rivers to cross the country in either direction, Ottawa was the perfect city for the title.
Skinwalker
okay.
On camera.
The hell is that?
Please pardon the interruption. At this time, we are going to ask that students and staff proceed to conduct an internal lockdown. I repeat, this is not a drill. Please proceed to internal lockdown. 911 has been called. Remain in internal lockdown until instructed otherwise by a uniformed officer.
Okay, guys, I need everybody right away. Back corner and down, please.
In Ohio too, what the hell?
No cell phones?
Get as close to the wall as you can, crowd it together. Marcus, get this way. Get this way. Get away from the window. Davis, hurry up. Get away from the window. Press up to these desks. Hurry up. Guys, grab these desks.
Walker at?
Feminine things that were originally made for men. In Persia, men wore high heels to protect their feet. Then the Europeans looked and said, let's use them too, but they did it to show that they were rich, powerful, and masculine. In their culture, the higher the heel, the more masculine you were. Bags were also made exclusively for men. This is the oldest bag ever found made for men. It is entirely decorated with dog teeth because that was the fashion of the time. A system very similar to the disposable pads we have today was originally used in World War I to stop soldiers from bleeding. That's when a nurse noticed and thought, we can put this in our underwear and we no longer need to use rags as pads. Skirts were originally worn by men throughout the history of the world.
A killer clown.
I never knew that. Our reality's blown wide open. If you would have said high heels were made for men first, I wouldn't have believed you. We learning today.
Clown was just released from prison in Florida. This case dates back to May 26, 1990, when 40-year-old Marlene Warren opened her front door. In front of her was a clown holding balloons and a basket of flowers. Marlene stated, "How nice," before the clown fatally shot her in the mouth, then calmly walked away. Authorities suspected 26-year-old Sheila Keene for years, who was having an affair with the victim's husband, Michael. But unfortunately, there wasn't enough evidence to convict her. 12 years later, Michael and Sheila wed in Las Vegas, moved to Tennessee, and started running this burger joint called the Purple Cow. They lived happily as if nothing happened, and Sheila even had the audacity to dress up as a clown one year. But in 2014, Florida authorities received a grant that allowed them to reopen the case. Advances in DNA technology allowed them to test a brown hair at the crime scene. It belonged to Sheila Keene, who was finally arrested in 2017 and pleaded not guilty. But after 7 years in jail, prosecutors gave her a deal in April of 2023. In exchange for pleading guilty to second-degree murder, she received a 12-year sentence. A Florida law allowed credit for good behavior, and that is why she was released on November 2nd of this year.
Here's a test to see if you or someone you know has thalassophobia.
Crazy.
Thalassophobia is the fear of deep or open water. Starting off at level 1, we have this image, and if you look at the baby's feet, you can see there's nothing. And that's what freaks people out, the fact that you can't see anything but feel like there's something watching you from below. If this freaked you out, don't watch the rest, because level 2 is even worse. Level 2, we have a person falling into a huge open body of water. And to make it worse, there's some sort of squid-like creature right in the corner. At level 3, we have the worst one yet. A person floating above a huge snake-like creature that we have no idea how big it is. And if you made it this far, congrats. Make sure you send this to a friend to see if they can pass the test and hit the follow button for more.
Maps will change the way you see the world. This map shows if your county has a McDonald's or not. If you're in a red county on this map, then you do not have a McDonald's, and there are 793 counties without them. This map shows the average weekly grocery bill across each state in the United States. Wisconsin has the lowest because Midwest states have the most farming around them. Hawaii and Alaska are the highest because of their isolation from the mainland food production. This map shows how fertility rates have decreased across the entire United States over the last 20 years. Louisiana had a tiny 0.3% decrease, while Utah had an over 30% decrease in fertility. This map shows the most common transportation methods in the United States to get to work. Most people in the United States are in a green county where it is driving alone. Orange counties are where people walk the most, yellow counties are where people take taxis or motorcycles more, and the red counties are public transportation counties, which is just San Francisco and New York City.
How y'all get to work, bro? Walk, driving, public transportation. I walk, bro. I'm a walker.
Everybody's talking about this new horror movie. It's awesome. Let's watch. I haven't watched it tonight. This movie is so scary. I promise.
This is a serial killer you haven't heard of that has more victims than Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, and Jeffrey Dahmer combined. The Sunday morning slasher. Carl Eugene Watts targeted mostly young, attractive women walking alone in the dark. He would stab, slash, strangle, and drown them. Watts told a psychiatrist that they had evil eyes. And it wasn't enough to murder these women, he had to kill their spirits too, by burning personal items or tossing them in a sewer. His first victim was 19-year-old Gloria Steele, a mother and college student who was stabbed 33 times in her apartment. Michigan authorities knew he was responsible for dozens of murders, but they never had had enough evidence to convict him. In 1982, Watts fled to Texas and resumed his murders, killing at least 12 more, including the youngest victim, 14-year-old Emily Lacroix. Now let's get to the moment he was finally caught. On May 23, 1982, Carl Watts choked Lori Lister until she was unconscious, and dragged her up the apartment steps. He used her keys to open the door and came face to face with Lori's roommate, Melinda Aguilar. Melinda was choked by Carl Watts as well, but this time she pretended to black out. He bound her hands behind her back and put her in a separate bedroom, while he filled up a bathtub where he planned to drown Lori Lister. With her hands still bound behind her back, Melinda quietly locked the bedroom door and proceeded to jump off a second-story balcony, where she yelled at a woman who was drinking coffee outside to call police. Unfortunately, Texas prosecutors offered immunity to Watts for the 13 murders he confessed to, in exchange for a 60-year sentence. Oddly enough, he was almost released from prison in 2006, but Michigan authorities were able to convict him of 2 murders before that could happen, and he died in prison in 2007 from prostate cancer.
Creepy facts that'll give you nightmares.
When
anglerfish mate, the male literally fuses itself into the female and the two live together as one fish for the rest of their lives. I'm kinda concerned as to how we know this, but if you feed a human body to pigs, they eat every last bit of it. There's a place near Mexico City called the Island of the Dolls. This place is home to thousands of dolls that are there to honor a girl who drowned in the 1950s. Many people say that this place is one of the most haunted places on Earth. And finally, this is Mike the Chicken. After Mike's head got chopped off, he somehow managed to live a full 1.5 years headless.
I'd like to talk about sentient plasmoid alien life, or whatever the hell that press conference was talking about in front of government offices, but let's listen in for a little bit.
How many species? Recent reports have said that there are perhaps 4 different alien species, Greys, Nordics. How many species are you aware of?
I certainly don't have the compendium. It's a continuum from corporeal, bipedal type life to, you know, what I would consider as like sentient plasmoid life, but there are several.
You know, and I talk about distraction all the time, and I'm not going to believe anything the government says about aliens, especially the timing that they're currently trying to release alien stuff. Do you know Bill Gates talked in front of Congress today? That's off subject. You know, let's talk about distraction a little bit more. Just look at the sign in front of these people. Task Force of Declassification of Federal Secrets. If the government was going to release information about aliens, to me they would have did it a long time ago. They're releasing it right now, that way we don't talk about other things that's happening. Things happening overseas, things that's happening here. You know Bill Gates talked in front of Congress today? But just remember folks, while they're talking about aliens right now, the people running our government, if they were your parents, you would have taken their driver's license away.
Think about Hollywood. I don't have much further need for Hollywood myself. I don't know how you guys feel, but yeah, I think it's a very strange, funny time where everybody would love to be able to be themselves, but they can't because they must fall in line with the person in front of them. You want to live that kind of life? I wish you the best. I'll be on the other side somewhere, you know.
I think we know who he was talking about when he said that everybody has to fall in line. See, because we know, man, who they are, bro. Let's not play stupid out here, man.
UFC 250 event was beyond scripted. The All-American Justin Gaethje winning this fight, I mean, come on. At the White House event, the UFC 250 event, you really could not have scripted things any better than that, because all of this stuff is scripted. This stuff is no different than the WWE, UFC, NBA, NFL. It does not matter the sport. Anytime there is betting involved, you best believe it is scripted. It is fake entertainment. Yeah, people may be getting, you know, hurt and stuff like that, right? But they know exactly what they are doing. They are basically stunt men at that point, right? They know exactly what they are doing. It is all scripted. It is all staged. It is no different than the WWE. This is literally why the UFC and the WWE are under the same umbrella with TKO. It is all scripted.
Damn. With each passing picture,
this fly, it'll just come out.
is I've seen some interesting maps where you have Earth that we see in the map, but then it's just one small portion of this huge other.
I've seen that too, yeah.
It's very possible that we're confined just to this smaller area. A lot of the stuff they have to show it to you and throw it in your face. NATO, that's their symbol, which I just find strange. There's a lot of Bible verses that they say it's metaphorical, but you can look at it as quite literal too. Corners of the earth is in its foundations. In the Bible, it said that the sun stopped.
Yeah, Joshua.
It didn't say the earth stopped spinning. It said the sun stopped. There's some biblical perspectives where it's like, what I really want to trust the heliocentric model. Helios would have been a watcher.
Greek mythology obsession within NASA and astrology is really strange.
Yeah, the planet names and all that stuff.
Yeah.
If it's really a spinning earth, you're flying in an airplane which only goes 600 miles an hour. We go in the opposite direction of the rotation. We ought to be able to get places a lot faster. And if we're going in the same direction of the rotation, I don't think you'd ever get there.
There's an atmospheric pressure, right, where anything within the Earth's atmosphere is rotating at the same speed the surface.
That's what they say.
That blows my mind.
Upper space water. That's the telescope, right? It's flowing like water.
The P-47s and P-52s may have been going back further in time than we thought. So check this out. In 1918, known occultist and Satanist Aleister Crowley and his partner, Roddy Minor, went through this 5-month-long summoning ritual called the Amalantrah Working, trying to contact what we would call interdimensional beings, these praetor-human intelligences. And apparently, he made contact with one. It was a non-physical, non-human intelligence he called Lamb. And he even made a drawing of this entity in his notebook. As you can see, Lamb had this huge bald head, thin neck, tiny mouth, and these unsettling eyes. And what does that look like? Yeah, that kind of looks like some kind of gray alien, or one of the P-47s and P-52s. It's a pretty uncanny resemblance, and what if there's some connection here and something to this idea? At the time Crowley contacted Lamb, barely anyone in the early 20th century was thinking of aliens, never mind the Greys, and his drawing was made decades before the modern UFO phenomena was even a thing. So who or what was Lamb? Well, since Crowley was an occultist, a lot of people believe Lamb was a demon. Is that why a bunch of you think that aliens are demons? And then there's the camp that thinks that Lamb may have actually been a gray alien. And if Lamb was an alien, and aliens are actually us from the future, according to people like Amy Eskridge and Hal Puthoff, is it possible there is a connection here with the P-47s and P-52s, and this being was able to contact Crowley further back in time from us through some kind of dimensional portal? Anyway, they kind of look similar to me, but what do you think?
An employee at a McDonald's in Southbridge is facing criminal charges after a video of her went viral. We're going to show you that video. This is the video that sparked a police investigation. You can see the employee that we've identified in court documents as Kaylee Marie Santos stuffing French fries into her mouth and then putting them in a fry carton as a coworker laughs along. According to court documents, Santos was working as the night manager just over a week ago. It says she then served the contaminated fries to her ex-girlfriend. Both Santos and the coworker have since been fired. Santos has been charged with distributing food containing a harmful substance.
All right.
Bro, the fact that that coworker, like I said, was just smiling, and people are sick, bro. Bro, you don't know. Food is contaminating, man, your food, man. Especially fast food, bro. Somebody having a bad day, they can just do anything to your food, man. You don't know. You ain't in the kitchen checking what's going on. That's why, man, I stay away from fast food as much as possible, bro. Trust me, it's not worth it, man. Especially Mickey D's, bro.
I believe Kim Kardashian has cast a spell on Kimmy Antonelli, or possibly stolen his essence, and if we see him drop off in form over the next few races, it'll be because of this moment right here. Kim Kardashian's family comes from Armenia, and her great-grandparents were part of a religious sect known as the Molochans. In 1852, an illiterate 11-year-old prophet warned the Molochans that a great war was coming, and kings would shed blood like rivers, and they should all escape to, specifically, Los Angeles. Kim's great-grandparents left to Los Angeles in 1913, 1913, avoiding the Armenian Genocide of 1915 and the Russian Revolution of 1917. And that's why there's so many Armenians in Los Angeles. But in traditional folklore, a sweat-stained piece of clothing is the ultimate prize for a sorcerer or a witch, as many believe hair, blood, sweat, and saliva are connected to a person's soul and contain their essence. And all you would need to curse someone or steal some of their good luck is a sweat-stained piece of clothing. And at the end of the Monaco Grand Prix, as she was walking through the crowd, Kim Kardashian slyly grabbed Kimi Antonelli's post-race towel, talked to a security guard, touched it to her face, and then walked off.
What the heck? I mean, we saw some clips about the Kardashians, man, but them being a witch, or Kim being a witch, was not on the bingo card 2026, allegedly. Yeah, but why did she touch the towel on her face and then I guess just walked away and left? Come on, Sickers, you gotta admit that's weird, right? What type of fish is that?
If you think the dead internet theory is as scary as I do, you need to watch this video because that shit is so fucking real and it's insane. So this is a video, it's about the woman who walked into the water with the 2 dead fish, but just watch this, it's fucking crazy.
Y'all, as soon as I seen the video of the woman holding the 2 fish walking into the water, the first thing that came to my mind was Yemaya. Y'all, as soon as I seen the video of the woman holding the 2 fish walking into the water, the first thing that came to my mind was Yemaya. In addition to that,
she turns around, she's
2 dead fish in her. Y'all, as soon as I seen the video of the woman holding the 2 fish walking into the water, the first thing that came to my mind was. Y'all, as soon as I seen the video of the woman holding the 2 fish walking into the water, the first thing that came to my mind was Yemaya. In addition, there was a video. As soon as I seen the video of the woman holding the 2 fish walking into the water, the first thing that there was a video.
The woman. So there's currently a video that's going viral, and it. So there's currently a video that's going viral, and it
reported today that a company forgot to set usage limits on its employees' AI usage on Claude, so they accidentally spent $500 million in 1 month. 6 hours after this report came out, another report came out that Amazon is scraping its employees' leaderboard for AI usage. I guess they had a leaderboard to see who used the most AI. So it's now fair to assume that Amazon was that company that was probably the one that accidentally spent $500 million in a month, because I mean, there's not a lot of companies out there that can just accidentally spend $500 million and be like, oh, no big deal. However, people are pointing out, wait a second, Amazon is an investor into Anthropic, who runs Claude, and Claude just raised like $900 billion, or they were valued at that. So did Amazon just find an infinite money glitch where it was like, oh, we'll use this, we'll forget to set usage limits, and then we'll pump those numbers up for evaluation and add an extra 500 million, which times 12 is what, an extra $6 billion a year? And then boom, we make the money back because Anthropic is valued at this. Who knows? This is all speculation. But the accidentally spending $500 million would be like, oh well, is something.
Today I'm going to show you the most disturbing cryptids with actual evidence behind them. This picture contains a list of the most disturbing cryptids in the world, and we already covered these, but now it's time for tier 2. The first one is the Skookum Cast, and honestly, I'm a little less convinced on this one than the other ones. Unlike the other things we've seen, this is supposed to be the first ever cast of Bigfoot laying down. As you can see, this is where the elbow would be, this is where he'd be sitting, this is another butt, possibly, another butt, heel, heel, heel. A lot of people suggest that this could just be an elk. Next one is the Japanese wolf, and honestly this one's kind of cool because they were supposed to be extinct in 1905. This picture, taken in 1996, depicts a Japanese wolf, and honestly it looks kind of cool. Next one is the Ozen Kudanuk tiger. This picture was taken in 1964, and it supposedly depicts this tiger, but a lot of people think it's a cardboard cutout. The next one is the Bodette video, and honestly this is a pretty big deal because this is actually covered on the news. It's really tough to see, but this is supposed to depict the Loch Ness Monster, also known as Champ. Next one is the thylacine photo. This is what the thylacine looked like before going extinct. Here are the photos of 1984 supposedly capturing one of the last ones. If you want to see tier 3, make sure to hit the like and follow button, and I'll get started researching on it immediately.
Guys, astronauts that are aboard the space station right now were just officially ordered to put on their spacesuits and prepare to evacuate because the station is leaking air. So the station is losing air through small cracks in a tunnel, and 2 different crew members were about to saw through a metal bracket to reach them, but then NASA officially said no. The other 5 astronauts got ordered into their escape ship, ready to detach and fly home just in case anything were to go wrong.
5 astronauts were briefly forced to take shelter or safe haven while new air leaks were being repaired on the International Space Station.
Just 2 hours later, they backed off and everybody got the all clear, but the station is still leaking. They're saying that these cracks have actually been there for 7 years now, and patches have never fixed them, but the loss of air was really slow until now. Just this week alone, it has now doubled to nearly 2 pounds of air being lost per day, and new spots that are leaking are now showing up. NASA has already rated this one of their highest levels of risk, and officials are straight up saying right now, direct quote, that this could end in a catastrophic failure. Hello? I will obviously keep you updated on everything about this whenever it comes out, so make sure you add me now if you don't want to miss it.
Those astronauts weren't the same ones that just came back from the around the moon trip, right? They're a different set of astronauts. That's weird, man. So many people in space. I didn't even know that a set of astronauts were in freaking space to begin with, man. Need to fix that leak. Bad, bro. Like you said, it was going to be a big failure for them.
I don't think y'all understand what just happened. Elon Musk is no longer a billionaire. Elon Musk is no longer a centibillionaire. Elon Musk just became the first trillionaire in human history. I need y'all to let that sink in for a second. $1 trillion, not a billion, $1 trillion. A number so big that most people can't even visualize it. If you tried to count to 1 million out loud, it'd take anywhere from 11 to 23 days, they're saying. I need you to look up there and see how long it'll take for you to count to 1 trillion. 31,709 years. We don't even live that long. So now you gotta ask yourself, how did this man right here become the first trillionaire? Because this shit ain't natural. Mind you, he ain't get this shit because Tesla exploded overnight. He got there because of SpaceX. They're saying that he got there because SpaceX just had what is being called the largest IPO in history. That company is worth $2 trillion. And right now he has a personal wealth about $1.1 trillion. I need you to go down a rabbit hole. Here's where this shit starts getting crazy. There are countries on this planet with economies smaller than Elon Musk's personal fortune. Y'all don't think that's crazy? This man now controls more wealth than the GDP of most nations on Earth. I just want y'all to think about this. Do you understand how much power that is? I'm saying something, and I hope you picking up what I'm putting down. This just became something different. I hope y'all paying attention. I'm out.
I definitely am, bro. $1 trillion. He's $1 trillion in it now. A lot of money, bro. I heard he can buy like freaking every NBA team like 23 times over, man, and still have like $1 billion or something dollars left over, man. Or he could give everybody like $1 billion on Earth, bro, and still have money left over, man. But you know that happens. That would all upset the balance, so you know that ain't never going down. But bro, $1 trillionaire? Seekers, if you guys had $1 trillion in your bank account, what's the first thing you're doing? Tell me down below. I want to see what you guys doing with that type of money.
Whatever these beings are, the physicality of them is downstream of their true nature, and they use their physical forms as a way to interact on this level temporarily, but that's not what they are. Whatever the body, the form is sort of this just means to an end, or this like trickstery sort of downstream effect of some higher intention that he would say exists in some sort of like extended electromagnetic spectrum place or something that we don't have the ability to sense yet, which again sounds exactly like these ancient wisdom traditions who talk about higher worlds, subtle realities, or non-physical realities that are primarily comprised of like, I don't know, like mental sorts of beings or whatever. And I think it has to be something like that. And not only what you were saying before, does science, not know about these other dimensions yet? It would be predicated on something that most scientists would reject, right? Because it would be predicated on the idea that, hey, you get to these realms through mind. And to them, mind is just like some epiphenomenal, materialistic, temporary illusion, construct, whatever.
Damn, okay. Got my mind turning, bro.
So if I told you that they found 71 little girls in a sewer under a synagogue in Nyack, New York, and the explanation for it will have you scratching your head. And why do I say that? According to Nyack police, they had to come and rescue 71 girls who were on a trip and took it upon themselves to go exploring in sewers. And when you think about this a little bit more, what would possess or entice 71 total? I could see if just a couple said, hey, let's go see what's down there. But the entire group, 71 little girls, going to explore a sewer? What could possibly be in there or down there? So where was the chaperone or whoever was with them to tell them, hey, don't go down there. Don't go down there. And they ended up going down there. And then they ended up under a synagogue. Have a listen to the statement from the Nyack mayor.
Mayor, can you give us a word? What's happening?
Some young girls, some kids, they in the park, they were in the park, they got into the culvert of the creek and they started exploring, and then they ended up not really knowing where they were and they got a little alarmed. As far as I know from the police, I just got here a few minutes ago. As far as I know from the police, everybody's been accounted for. Nobody's missing. They're about to get them all on their buses, take them back home.
Mayor Joe Rand, Nyack, thank you very much.
Just to me, something just doesn't add up here. 71 girls total. How random do you think that is? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
That's weird.
How old were you when you realized that the sunshades for cars were supposed to go outside the car? This entire time, you are going to share this video with everybody. Prepare to be blown away. And we're going to get so many people mad in the comments. 1, the sunshade. There is a gap between the sunshade itself and the window. When you put it inside the car, scientists discovered that little gap is enough to trap so much heat that it'll actually heat up your car worse, especially if it's 95 degrees or more. So scientists said, hey, just put it on the outside. That is how they're meant to be used. I said, I don't want to get it stolen. But then I looked at some of the sunshades I have. I noticed that little band that it comes with, the little clip part to keep it all together, it's long enough so that it can actually wrap around the front windshield of any car. I tried it on a Kia, I tried it on like a Ford F-150 and a Subaru, and they worked. And I'm like, is that why it says one size fits all? I thought that was meaning like the window size, but apparently no, you could actually put it on the outside, clip it inside so people don't jack it, and you're good to go. And apparently that actually helps reduce so much more heat away from your vehicle. But if you put it inside and there's enough of a gap between the sunshade and the window, you're causing essentially a greenhouse. But now you know. Mind blown.
Oh hell, so apparently Buzz Aldrin here was trying to tell us the whole time that it never actually happened. Y'all take a listen to this.
This is the scariest moment of the journey.
Scary. It didn't happen.
What?
It could have been scary.
There's nobody that you can in such a long time.
We did go there, and that's the way it happened.
I remember my parents waking me up, and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
What?
You watched animation. So you associated what you saw with...
I have very hazy memory.
Not a bad line. Not a bad line.
Now about 500 legally dead people are stored in liquid nitrogen in facilities in Michigan and Arizona, waiting to be brought back from the dead. Let's talk about it. This is made possible by a technology called vitrification. Your body is about 60% water, and when water freezes, it expands into ice crystals that shred cell membranes. So vitrification replaces the water with chemicals called cryoprotectants, which are basically antifreeze, and cools the body so fast the solution skips freezing and becomes a glass-like solid. Now, at a small scale, this works really well. Last year, a baby was born to a couple in Ohio from an embryo that was vitrified in 1994, over 30 years frozen. The hard part is scaling it up. Cryoprotectants are toxic at high concentrations, and the blood-brain barrier blocks them from reaching brain tissue evenly. But advancements are still being made. In March of this year, a team led by Alexander German vitrified slices of adult mouse brain and then rewarmed it back up, and the hippocampus, which is the brain's region for memory, still worked. And that was the first time that anyone has ever brought back brain function from full cryogenic shutdown. Companies like the Alcor Life Extension Foundation in Scottsdale or the Cryonics Institute in Michigan have been preserving people since 1967. And the hope is that in the future, we can build technology to bring these people back.
Pause what you're doing right now, because I need y'all to tell me, what the heck is this? What is this? Do not tell me this is normal. Do not say this is a shelf cloud. Don't tell me this is a roll cloud or whatever they're trying to call it, y'all. This is not normal, y'all. Never in my life have we ever seen anything like this, y'all. Why does this thing look like a cosmic steamroller, y'all? What is this about? And how is this possible? Look at this, y'all. Here's another angle of it manifesting out of the ocean. It's literally coming out of the ocean, y'all. So when they told us that the ocean is space, it really is space, because look at this, y'all. And now, y'all, ain't no way. Y'all just seen that thing literally come out of the ocean. Remember a few months ago, all the UFOs and the UAPs that were coming out of the ocean? And this thing just came out of the ocean? Look how monumentous this thing is. Is that even a word? I just made it up today because this is... What is this? Look at that. Oh my goodness, y'all. What an amazing time to be alive. This is crazy. Look at the way this thing is rolling in, y'all. Look at this. This is why they can't predict the weather anymore, y'all. These things do whatever they want. They roll in whenever they want, y'all. There is absolutely nothing normal about this. This is some Elemental movie type stuff, y'all. Remember in the movie Elemental, the clouds were literally walking on Earth? This is exactly what's happening right now, y'all. This thing literally came out of the ocean, and now it's coming onto Earth. If this right here don't make you question what world we're living in, and we're in another universe right now, or a parallel reality, y'all, then I don't know what is this, because look at this. Bro, look at that. Look at the way it's rolling these strands within it. But yes, y'all, this was in Portugal, y'all. But let me know what you guys think about this video. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. Let's
Amazing facts you didn't know, part 3. There are more than 1 million ants for every person on Earth. The longest underwater kiss lasted 20 minutes and 11 seconds. Stubbs, this orange cat, was the mayor of Tahkeetna, Alaska for 20 years. Stephen King bought the car that nearly hit and killed him in 1999 and smashed it with a sledgehammer. The Empire State Building has its own zip code. You can see 4 different states from the top of Willis Tower in Chicago. If you go to a McDonald's in the Philippines, you can order a McSpaghetti combo. Google was nearly called back row. It's impossible to hum while holding your nose. Try it out and follow for more facts.
Oh yeah, he's telling the truth. I could not.
Stop scrolling because this has to be one of the scariest skinwalker encounters ever. Reddit user Troutmaster said that his ward at church purchased a piece of land. It was a wooded area with a little bit of swamp. When he was a teenager, him and his buddies would always go there for campouts. And at night, when it was pitch black, they would all play manhunt. One time, they all got down to one person whose name was David. They had split up and gone deep into the forest towards the swamp because it seemed like it was impossible to find him. They thought that he might have gone a little bit further than they usually went. They started getting into some more muddy and wet terrain. As they got closer to the swamp-like area, they saw David out in the swamp. He wasn't wearing any shirt, and with the spotlight on him, he looked super pale. He just stood there and didn't say a word. You could seriously tell that something was off. Then, all of a sudden, they heard David from behind them yelling and trying to get their attention, which meant that what they saw in front of them wasn't David. They yelled and ran back to the campsite as fast as they could.
I got Slender Man vibes, man, when I saw that this clear face. I mean, they was out in the woods, it was late at night, maybe the moms was playing tricks on them, man. That's why it's got to be real good surroundings, but to say he was that pale and he can't have no face, yeah, I definitely got some Slender Man vibes. Hopefully, I'm not the only one, man.
Seemingly normal photos with disturbing backstories, part 1. This photo shows Apollo 1 astronauts praying as a joke, and not a single one of them returned back to Earth. This is a photo of a man smiling in the trenches during the war, but he wasn't smiling because he was happy. He was smiling due to shell shock and borderline insanity. This just looks like 3 girls taking a selfie, but the light in the background is actually a train which hits and ends all their lives just seconds later.
Pictures tell a story.
Creepy photos that can't be explained. This photo was taken in the basement of a house that was for sale a few years ago. The photo was taken by a realtor because he wanted to show his clients the house. Everything looks completely normal in this house until you look at the left corner. What appears to be a fairly transparent woman is standing towards the bottom of the stairs going to the basement. The realtor insists that nobody was there when he took the photo, but the strangest part about this photo lies in the backstory of this house. The house was previously owned by a man and his wife, but unfortunately the wife passed away, so the husband decided to sell. Another reason why the man wanted to sell his house is because after his wife passed, he kept hearing strange noises in the middle of the night while home alone. What do you guys think? Who or what was captured on camera? Like and follow for more.
Do you ever see a picture that just makes your stomach drop? This is a screenshot from a security alert that a woman named Alexis Randall received on her phone. It came from a security camera that was set up in her living room, but she's staring at the image and she's wondering the same thing you are. There's nothing there. What's wrong with this picture? Why did the motion detector go off? But then look a bit closer, specifically at the bathroom doorway. This man who was staring at the camera from the doorway. The moment she saw this, she immediately panicked and called the police, but by the time the officers arrived, the man was gone. What terrified her even more was that investigators discovered that the bathroom window had been tampered with. Additional security footage showed that the man had actually climbed through that window the night before and had been hiding in the hallway bathroom the entire time, even while she was at home.
Pictures of extremely unsettling things. Part 1. Caves aren't just creepy and dangerous on land. Check out the sign to an entrance of an underwater cave. Prevent your own unaliving. Go no further. More than 300 divers, including water scuba dive instructors, have been unalived here. There is nothing in this cave worth becoming unalived for. Do not go beyond this point. Don't forget to like and follow for a part 2.
A mum who wrote a book to help her own children deal with the grief of the death of their father has just been arrested on suspicion of his murder. Curry Richards was arrested on Monday on suspicion of poisoning her husband Eric in their home last year in Kamas, Utah. The night Eric died, Richards said she made him a Moscow Mule drink and gave him a THC gummy, allegedly to celebrate selling a property as part of their real estate business. She then apparently went to soothe one of her children before coming back to find him passed out and stone cold around 3 a.m. The medical examiners said they found 5 times the lethal dose of fentanyl in his system, a painkiller which is 100 times more powerful than morphine. Following Eric's death, Curry actually wrote Are You With Me?, a children's picture book aimed at little kids to help them deal with the death of a loved one. She did television interviews, editorial articles, but now it looks like police think she was the one who in fact killed her children's father. Now, the motive around the alleged murder has not been confirmed, but she did change herself on Eric's life insurance to be the sole beneficiary before he died.
Money.
And in a shocking discovery, a warrant actually claims Eric noticed this and changed that back as well as his power of attorney and handed it over to his sister in complete secret without his wife finding out. Why? He was allegedly scared she would kill him for the money. Court documents have shown that Richards bought $900 worth of fentanyl pills just before a Valentine's Day meal where Eric became really sick and suffered an allergic reaction but luckily survived. However, 2 weeks later she brought another $900 worth of fentanyl pills when days later he died of an overdose. This is a shocking story with a lot more details. To hear all about it, head to dailymail.com.
My man pulled a 9,000 IQ move, man. He switched everything out before it happened because he knew, man, he had a gut feeling, like he said, that his wife was freaking trying to take him out. And look what happened, man. She thought she was going to get that money. He said, nope. I'm going to switch it all out. Gave it to her sister, man. And the fact that she wrote a book, knowing what she did, this world is a crazy place.
So you like anything creepy, but have you heard of Elijah Wilkie?
the name Michael Jackson, dedicated to showcase an animatronic inspired by Michael Jackson. This animatronic was named Eliuwaki, aka El Hihi. His creation was to honor Michael Jackson during his Thriller era. This video became so popular that in 2019, a gaming studio called Deadly Crow Games made a video game called Escape the Eliuwaki. Now, I don't know about you, but this video is just so creepy, and I cannot imagine having this animatronic in my home.
Shh. Stay still. Stay still.
Now, if you think that woman's overreacting, then you really have no idea what she's up against. It's arguably the most dangerous animal the average American has never heard of. I had enough love. Those are javelinas. Also known as peccaries, they look like desert pigs. They're actually from a different family. They're the mascot of a sleeper build. They might look like some extra seasoned bacon, but they'll put you in a perma nap if you press them. The reason why? Those right there. They have tusks, and tusk stands for terriers like Kruger. Every year, people get sent to the ER after getting gored by this aggressive Nada pig. One woman got mauled, and the peccary tore all the tendons in her arm to where she couldn't move her fingers. But it could have been worse because they're about yay high. If they catch the wrong part of your leg and sever your femoral artery, then you are to be an obituary. You cooked, my guy. Like most animals, they're not out here looking for phase, but there's two good ways you can get got, and one is if you get too close to their spawn. They will run up on you in the name of parenthood. Speaking of run, as fast as you think they are faster. But things can get real critical if you're walking your dog. Why? Well, javelinas have a lot of predators. One of them are coyotes. And what's a dog to a peccary with canine bias? Yeah, your pet can get profiled and get y'all both packed up. And also, since they travel in groups called squadrons, you can really get packed up by a squad of swine. Also, they have poor eyesight, so any movement can be a threat. So if you're ever in the US Southwest and meet a peccary, you're going to want to keep your distance, make noise so they can avoid you, and if it gets close, throw something not at them, but near them. And remember, most injuries come from people walking into them or even feeding them, so mind your manners, you'll probably be alright. The more you know.
Times when psychics helped solve crimes. On May 15, 1976, 14-year-old Susan Jacobson left her home to go to a job interview at an ice cream parlor, but she never came back. Susan's parents contacted the police, but the police said she probably just ran away with her boyfriend Dempsey Hawkins, and they refused to search for her. 2 weeks later, Susan's parents contacted a psychic, Dorothy Allison, to help with the case. Dorothy asked what the word Mar meant, claiming she saw it in red spray paint. She also envisioned an abandoned car, dual church steeples, the smell of oil, and claimed that Susan had been strangled to death by her boyfriend. Then 2 years later, 3 boys stumbled across Susan's body as they were hunting. At the site was the word Mar, spray painted in red on a rock, dual church steeples, an abandoned car, and 2 oil drums which contained Susan's body. Plus, evidence at the scene showed that Susan had been strangled by her boyfriend Dempsey Hawkins, who was then sentenced to 22 years to life in prison.
That is sad. Why did that family need to hire a psychic to do the police job? That's what the world come to, man. We gotta hire psychics, man, instead of police actually doing their job. And she nailed it too. I've never been to, you know those people who, like I said, they be seen through the crystal balls or something like that, reading your palms. I've never been to one before, but she was right on the money, so I guess it turns out it's accurate, I guess, sometimes. Who knew?
AI art is not something that's terribly new, but have you heard about the woman that is haunting AI pictures? This is the face, and nobody can explain why she keeps showing up in AI images. If you look at her, she's not really general. I mean, there are specific characteristics here that are consistent, yet nobody knows which prompts are generating this woman. Nobody knows why her face continues to appear in different models. So this has opened up one of my favorite questions about the idea that AI pictures can be haunted. And don't forget, if things like this are of interest to you, make sure to go check out the podcast.
This spooky mystery will leave you very confused. Cape Elizabeth is a normal American town in the state of Maine. But in 2005, there were some weird things going on in the area. Several residents claimed to have been waking up in the middle of the night to see a strange man staring back at them in their bedroom. But before they could react, he would vanish. Many members of the town went to the police and described the man that they saw. And oddly enough, they all gave the same description. This is the face of the man who everyone claimed to see in their rooms at night. This sketch was featured on the local news, and several people around the area called in with suspects. However, the police never arrested anybody, and the man was never seen again. So what do you think happened?
Could have been a roamer. Maybe. That's my best guess. People saw them in the middle of the night, but the police has no idea where that man was at. That's my best guess, man. He was a roamer. That's all I got for you today.
Do you guys know the story behind the Amber Alert? On January 13th, 1996, 9-year-old Amber Hagerman rode her bike with her little brother Ricky 2 blocks away from her grandmother's house. Suddenly, a man in a black pickup truck approached Amber and forced her into his vehicle. The only witness to Amber's abduction was a 78-year-old man named Jim Kevill, who immediately contacted police and notified them. Amber's little brother, Ricky, does not remember much of what happened that day, but he does recall riding his bike back home and his sister not being behind him. 5 days later, Amber's lifeless body was found in a nearby creek, and 26 years later, her murder remains unsolved. When Amber went missing, there was no available notification system to alert the public of Amber's kidnapping. 9 months later, the Amber Hagerman Child Protection Act was passed, leading to the start of the Amber Alert system. The case has never gone cold, and police continue to work on finding the person responsible for Amber's abduction and murder. Amber would have been 35 years old today.
Damn, that's chilling. The origins of the Amber Alert.
It's what she finds in the kitchen that's really scary. In the early 90s, a young girl was sleeping in her mom's bed when she suddenly woke up for no reason. She looked at her door and she saw her very affectionate cat kind of meowing down the hall as if someone was coming up to pet it, but she was next to her mom and they were the only ones in the house. The girl shakes her mom awake and points to the cat just as a man is walking past the door and disappears into the room across the hall. Before the man could come back out and find them, they both jump out the window, run across the street, and call the police. When the police arrive, the guy is nowhere to be found, but they do discover that the front door was unlocked, so that had to be the way he got in and out. But the mother swears up and down that she locked that door before she went to bed. A week later, the mother's cleaning their kitchen, and she opens up the water heater closet where she finds this notebook that inside is their names and pictures of them in it, along with a pair of surgical gloves. Which means someone had snuck in at some point, was living in that closet spying on them, and then walking around their house at night.
How do people not know when people get into their house?
Scary facts that you didn't know about the Ghostface Killer. So the first movie that the Ghostface Killer was actually in was called Scary Movie. If you guys have never seen it, it's pretty much like a scary parody movie. It's very, very funny. It's also got a little bit of scariness in it. It's a 10 out of 10 watch. I think it's really funny. But this movie is actually based on a true story. It's based on a 1990s murder case where 5 people were actually killed. Hence the reason they shoot the movie in high school. The first one where he's actually in the movie. They based it off of high school instead of completely copying it from college. And the man who actually killed those kids was Danny Rowland, 36 years old. He was sentenced to death. Did you guys know that when this movie first aired, a ton of people were super scared because of the fact that he calls you and there's no caller ID? That they actually invested in getting caller IDs. There was millions and millions of people who were freaking out once it dropped. I mean, shit, I would have done the same thing. But every single horror movie, Scream has the highest body count. He has killed the most people in any scary movie. That's a freaking record in itself. For one of the most gorgeous horror movies, when they were first making the movie, they were afraid that it wasn't going to sell because of how much violence, blood, and guts it is. If you guys have never seen these movies, I really suggest you guys checking them out.
It's not every day.
I think I've seen the first one, if I'm not mistaken. I've seen the first one, yeah. I got like Regina Holland in it. Yeah, it's that one. Yeah, I've seen that one. Shout out Mike Madison. I guess the only Oscar winning actress who won. She was a Ghostface 2 in the newer versions. I haven't checked out any of the new versions of Scream. Are they worth checking out? Any of you seekers watch them, man? You can tell me the recommendations down below.
That a serial killer goes out of their way to apologize for crimes they've committed, or to go out of their way to save an innocent man for being blamed for the murders that the serial killer actually did. The only problem here is the serial killer let the other guy off scot-free by murdering the judge who was putting the innocent man on trial. This man, Will Graham, was accused of being the Chesapeake Ripper, who allegedly not only murdered several people, dismembered them, and ate their organs. The only problem? Will Graham was not the Chesapeake Ripper, but his bestie and psychiatrist Hannibal Lecter was the Chesapeake Ripper. And Hannibal Lecter's actually the one that framed Will Graham in the first place. Hannibal wanted to get off scot-free, he needed somebody to take the fall for him. But he realized during the trial, while seeing Will locked up, that he actually really cared for Will and didn't want to see him take the fall for this. So he causes a mistrial by murdering the judge in a style in which only the Chesapeake Ripper would know to do. He completely knocks the top of the judge's head off of his body, takes out his brain and heart, and makes the judge's body hold it in like a balance, and strings him up in the courtroom for everyone to find when they're coming in for the verdict. This causes a mistrial and saves Will Graham's life. The killer wrote you a poem, Will. Are you going to let his love go to waste? Which I think is another big reason why the heart and the brain are in the balance in the judge's hand. Because Hannibal Lecter knows logically that he should let Will take the fall, but his heart says, no, I love Will, I care for him a lot, and I don't want to see him get ripped away from me.
Imagine if your grandparents disappeared, like completely without a trace. Welcome to Creep Time on TikTok with Silas Dean. This is the haunting story of Charles and Catherine Romer. On April 8th of 1980, a wealthy elderly couple named Charles and Catherine check into a Holiday Inn right off I-95. They're just on their way home from a vacation. But to put this in context, this wasn't a usual choice for them. These were two very well-off people, so to choose a Holiday Inn, it wouldn't have been typical of them. But not long after checking into their room, the couple seemingly vanished. After 2 or 3 days, hotel management became concerned that they hadn't seen the couple leave their room, so they went to go check on them. This was only to find that their room had never been slept in. Inside the room were all of their clothes, their travel diary, and over $60,000 of Catherine's jewelry. Hotel staff then goes out to the parking lot and finds that their car is missing, but no one ever saw them leave. At the time, only one witness comes forward saying that they saw this car miles away at a restaurant circuit. But after they interviewed people at the restaurant, nobody remembered seeing this couple. Despite search efforts, they were never found after that night, and no one really knows what happened to them.
To the moment, I think it was probably money motivated.
Let's talk about more of the worst things someone's confessed to before passing. This brings us to the town of Dayton, and for 17 years, they were left wondering what happened to Christine Kett. So on a cold and snowy afternoon, a real long time ago, on January 11th of 1967, neighbors of Miss Christine Kett, so in this story, there's Mama Christine Kett, and there's daughter Christine Kett, and daughter Christine Kett has a brother. So the brother arrives home from work to find his 18-year-old sister in the floor, her head's been bashed in. There's blood all over this kitchen floor. There was a pew-pew found next to her, which had not been fired off, and there were also pieces of her skull found nearby. So Mama Christine arrives on scene, gets kind of caught up with what happened. She was supposedly on a shopping trip all day, and no one's seen her since the morning. So Mama Christine, her boyfriend, and the brother are all questioned, but they're let go. I mean, this is the 1800s. It's, you know. This case goes cold for 17 years. People are left wondering what happened to Christine until March of 1884 when Mama Christine gets real sick and she calls her son to her side. Mama Christine confesses that daughter Christine was supposed to be whipping up supper, but she got home late, so the argument escalates and escalates till Mama Christine picks up an axe and starts bashing daughter Christine's head with it. This was a complete sneak attack, and daughter Christine stands no chance. She passes almost immediately, and then Mama Christine's like, oh, I need an alibi, so she says, what better alibi than that I was shopping? Mama Christine also makes him promise to not tell the cops what happened until he's about to pass, but after his mom passes, he goes to the cops and tells them what happened. Supposedly, the locals weren't too surprised about this because at the funeral, Mama Christine ain't shed a single tear, so that's pretty scary.
February 17th, emergency responders responded to an emergency at a Waterbury, Connecticut home. When they got there, they found a 32-year-old man who had been locked in his room since he was 11 years old by his stepmother. According to the man, his stepmother, Kimberly Sullivan, had him locked in a room and was only giving him sandwiches 2 times a day, and she has been doing that for the past 20 years. The man's father had passed away, and his birth mother was never in the picture, and therefore he was left with Kimberly Sullivan. Now, back when he was a child, the police were called and Child Protective Services were called from the school on Kimberly on multiple occasions, and no one intervened on behalf of the child. And now this man was found inside of the room 20 years later. He is so frail and thin and gone through so much that he is traumatized. And this woman acts as if she's surprised by the charges. According to the victim, he purposely set the house on fire so he would be found, stating that he wanted his freedom from her. When emergency responders found the man, he only weighed 68 pounds. And according to the victim, he was locked inside of that room for 20 years for 22 hours a day. The victim stated that he was only let out the room to complete chores, and multiple times he was forced to drink toilet water because he was so thirsty. and this woman shows up to court with a cross on her chest.
So I'm obsessed.
Imagine not being able to leave your room. You only get like 2 hours of freedom a day. And then you just right back in with 2 sandwiches. That's it. No entertainment, no nothing, man. My mind will go insane. And he survived that for over 20 years. And she coming to court with a cross on her chest. After like she didn't do nothing wrong. It's with these people, man.
With the dark side of Disney. And did you know there's a horrible period of accidents at Disneyland that doesn't really get talked about a lot? It's been referred to as the Disney Dark Ages. It was from 1997 to 2003 when this guy, Paul Pressler, was the president of Disneyland. Paul basically decided they were no longer going to do scheduled maintenance on rides. They were only going to fix rides when they were broken. Did it save money? Sure. But this resulted in some of the worst accidents the park had ever seen. One of the worst being that of Brandon Zucker. In 2001, Brandon Zucker was on the Roger Rabbit ride, which was already having maintenance issues. An employee put Brandon on the wrong side of the car, and when he put the lap band down, it didn't close all the way. So at one point in the ride, Brandon tumbled out of his seat and was hit by an oncoming car. The car pinned him and dragged him down the track before anyone could do anything. Also, at the time, Disney employees were not allowed to call 911. They had to call park emergency services, who then called 911, so it took a while for anyone to come get Brandon. He did survive the accident, but he had brain damage so bad he was nonverbal and lost a lot of motor skills for the rest of his life. And eventually he passed away at 13 years old. This photo is terrifying, but not for the reason you think. Sure, it does look like Abraham Lincoln is giving his wife a back massage from the afterlife, and that is spooky. But this woman here, Mary Todd Lincoln, was into some really witchy stuff and is the reason that the White House is haunted. Let me explain. And before we dive in, tonight's episode is all about hauntings of the White House, so you don't want to miss it. So when the Lincolns were in the White House, their youngest son, Willie, died of typhoid fever. He was only 11 when he died, and Mary, who was already suffering from mental health issues, was inconsolable when he died. And in her grief and desperation, she started holding seances in the White House. At first they were harmless. She would just conjure the ghost of Willie, whose ghost actually still haunts the White House today. But then they started getting out of control, and Mary was calling all sorts of ghosts into the White House. Guests would hear stomping and swearing come from nowhere. One person said they even heard Andrew Jackson playing the violin once. And the White House stayed haunted after she stopped doing these seances. When William Howard Taft was president, his aides said that they were being tormented by a ghost they called the Thing. And one woman who thought she saw it actually said it looked like a young boy. So when you see this photo, it may look like a gag, but Mary was up to some really witchy stuff in the White House. Be sure to tune in tonight for more spooky stories and history.
The White House haunted, that's why some presidents, you know, they be living, I guess, outside of the White House. They be having multiple houses. Is that where it stemmed from? Learning about some ancient history today.
Another cold case has been solved as a woman who has been missing for 25 years was reunited with her father this week. On October 5th, 1999, 2-year-old Andrea Reyes was abducted by her mother, Rosa Tenorio, who did not have custody of her. Her father, Carlos, had custody, but her mother abducted her and she was never found. Police believed that she had taken the girl to Mexico, but she could not be located. Carlos went there multiple times searching for Andrea. He could never find her. The FBI and New Haven, Connecticut police issued a felony arrest warrant for her mother, but the case unfortunately went cold and Andrea and her mother could not be located. Her case was entered into the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System and was considered a cold case for years. Investigators released at least 3 age-progressed photos of her over the years, the last in 2020. But her case still remained cold until 2023, when the New Haven Police Department's Special Victims Unit reviewed cold cases and took on the Reyes case. Investigators working on the case used interviews, search warrants, and social media to find out where the girl's mother had taken her. Now 27 years old, Andrea Reyes was located in Puebla, Mexico. During the renewed search, a woman contacted a man who she believed was her father. The New Haven Police Department worked with the DNA testing company Othram to see how closely the two were related. Othram compared the woman's DNA sample to her potential father's DNA sample, and on March 4th, they confirmed that he is her father. And then it was determined that that woman was the missing 2-year-old from 1999, Andrea Reyes. A detective was able to establish contact with Andrea, and after confirming the match to her father, put her in contact with him. They have spoken now for the first time in over 20 years. There is still an active warrant out for the girl's mother, Rosa Tenorio, who allegedly kidnapped her. But she is believed to be in Mexico and the warrant is only valid in the US. but Carlos is so happy to finally have answers and have his daughter back. Carlos and his wife, Lucia, thanked police, federal authorities, and missing persons groups for all their help. Currently, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children is helping to prepare the father and daughter for an in-person reunion. While no arrests have been made and there's no real justice served, at least now Andrea finally has her father back, and he has her.
This high school senior buried her baby in the backyard and got away with it. This is Brooke Skylar Richardson, and she was born on March 9th of 1999 and is from Ohio. Brooke had found out she was pregnant during her senior year of high school. She was at her doctor's office when she found out she was going to be giving birth in just a couple of weeks, and supposedly she went throughout her whole pregnancy without knowing she was pregnant. Hearing this news, she cried out loud that she was not prepared at all to have a baby, and she begged that doctor to please give her some birth control, even though she was already pregnant. With this news, she decided she was going to keep it a secret from all of her family and all of her friends. Before giving birth, she did some Google searches, and 2 of those Google searches were how to not have a baby and how to get rid of a baby. On May 5th of 2017, Brooke attended her senior prom, and within 48 hours, she gave birth in the bathroom of her parents' home. That is when she decided she was going to bury the baby in the backyard of her parents' home. Since the 6th grade, Brooke had suffered from an eating disorder, so the next morning after the delivery, she was at the gym and she texted her mom that she was so happy because her belly was finally going back to normal. For about 2 months, the baby remained buried in the backyard, and she didn't tell anyone what happened. Brooke eventually had an appointment with her doctor, and that is when she admitted that she gave birth and buried the baby in the backyard. And once the doctor found out about that, they reported it to the police. On July 14th of 2017, the baby's skeletal remains were dug up from the backyard. The initial autopsy revealed that the baby was partially charred and died of homicidal violence. In a recorded interview with police, they had came up with the idea that Brooke may have tried to do a cremation for the baby, and later on, Brooke agreed that she did try. A psychologist had diagnosed Brooke with a dependent personality disorder, and he believed that this disorder may have led her to make a false confession. After trial, Brooke was not convicted on the more serious charges because prosecutors could not prove their case. Brooke was able to go to college, and she ended up working part-time at a law firm, and these are the people that had represented her in court. Her probation had ended in 2020, but it was supposed to last for 2 more years.
They say stay away from the light, but in this life, they say darker the berry, sweeter the juice. What does it mean when the chicken and the eggs are black? Oh my days. So let me see if I got this straight. All this time, I thought eggs and chickens only came in 3 colors, but brother, you can get black eggs on your beans and toast. Oh my diddy. Like, who's eating these? Why have I never seen a black egg? These men are keeping the eggs to themselves. I mean, just look at this. The 4 most expensive chicken breeds got the 2 black things, the white thing, and the mixed race thing. Oh, you son of a 2-piece of fries, with some coleslaw and a drink. So the next time you go to the butcher's, the next time you go to the groceries, ask them, in fact, tell them, I want my black eggs. But for you gal that might only go with black men, wait till you see the black chicken. Oh my days.
Take a look at this.
Seekers, have you guys ever seen, man, black chickens, bro, black eggs? I think I've seen them like 1 time before, man. But I thought it was cap until I saw another clip, bro. So be careful, man.
Massive fireball flying over homes and highways in Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, and even more states. NASA says it was a meteor that traveled 56,000 miles per hour and burned brighter than the planet Venus before disintegrating.
This man snuck into a secret part of the Grand Canyon and found this. Check this
Guys,
out.
all I can keep saying is this place makes absolutely no sense.
Watch where he zooms in.
We're almost to the lion monolith, but look what I spot down below.
That is a man-made structure. Ancient.
Getting closer. But there's so much That makes 0 sense.
No one is allowed at this
Like,
part
all
of the
those
Grand
cliff
Canyon.
faces are completely cut off. This one's cut off. That one's cut off. That whole top of the mountain was sheared off, except to block. There's another altar there. I guarantee you these were altars. Either they had machines to cut stone, robots, or that's all they did the second they were born.
Stay weird, y'all.
That's all anyone did.
Okay. Those orbs?
Hey, I'm with Matan. And he's with Palm Beach Pete. Give me a break. It was a long time ago. There's how many years until it's not a crime anymore? Peace out, bro.
I don't know what is going on here. You all heard it for yourselves. Why did he call him somebody else that this dude says that he is not in a joking way? Why? Why would he call him by that name? I mean, again, you heard it for yourselves. I know that I'm not hearing things. Seriously, something ain't right here when it comes to Palm Beach Pete. It's not. Everything surrounding this dude is very, very strange. And again, when you had that dude right there call him by that name, you all heard it for yourselves. Can you truly explain to me what is going on here? I'm sure that it probably was a joke, right? Because remember, this is Palm Beach Pete. That's all that this person is Palm Beach Pete, right? Right? I mean, again, can you all truly explain to me what is going on here?
This fish didn't come from the ocean. It was grown in a lab. It's cultivated meat, also known as lab-grown, cultured, or cell-based meat. It's real meat, not fake meat like plant-based protein. The difference is that it's been grown from cells in a lab, and not in the actual animal.
It's basically just what nature does, just growing the cells, and we're just giving them the ingredients to actually grow in a healthy way.
This isn't the stuff of science fiction anymore. The tech is now being used to produce all kinds of seafood. That could help alleviate environmental issues like the depletion of fish stocks, health issues linked to fish like microplastics and mercury, and also animal welfare concerns. But it's not yet in the supermarket.
The availability of it in small amounts might come soon, but the availability in every supermarket in the United States is quite a ways away.
Singapore is the only place in the world that currently allows the commercial sale of cultivated meat. Could this be the future of seafood?
Every now and then, my camera actually captures something. Now, y'all saw that what flew over into the next yard. Now watch what happens next. So the camera detected motion. Here comes 2 orbs. Now, in the beginning of the video, y'all saw what flew over there. Now watch what comes back. When I tell y'all that I am seeing creatures, I am seeing galactic creatures, ETs. Now, here it comes. Y'all see it, right? I'm thinking it's a fairy. It's some sort of strange light. Come on now.
I saw it.
How, y'all, if that wasn't a shapeshifter, let me know, y'all. Shapeshifters are basically spirits that can, look, here it comes back again. You saw the 2 orbs. Now watch what happens. And this video has not been edited. Look at that timestamp. It comes back again. How is that possible, man? It's a shapeshifter.
What? I was definitely, from what I saw, it looked like a shapeshifter. Those 2 orbs came onto the screen. And it was like something was going on behind the tree. And then it just popped out of nowhere. That's crazy, man. Like she said it was edited because of the timestamps that was on the video. So, got some shapeshifting after, man. Big 2026, bro.
Oh, it's strong.
This is strong. This is it. This is the prehistoric lamprey. Let go?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let go?
Yeah.
Huh. Huh. Wow. Look at that. That's the strength of its suction.
Talk to y'all about the reptilians. We're gonna call them the reps in Bible, if that's something that you use, because a lot of y'all don't know everything in the Bible is metaphysical. It's metaphorical. It's deeper than what you perceiving. And what I'm about to talk to y'all is metaphorical. Y'all think the reptilians is some lizard shit, but it's really something that, and y'all think it shapeshifts, etc. All that is true, but it's metaphorical. You gotta understand what I'm about to tell you.
Here at Casey's in Lincoln, Illinois, check out these clouds.
Weird. I'm getting Chicken Little vibes, bro. Remember the spark when the sky broke apart and we're all like UFO ships?
Crazy clouds out here in Lincoln. Crazy clouds out here in Lincoln. Look at this.
That's a weird pattern, man.
Place in Alaska that conspiracy theorists believe controls the weather. This is HAARP, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, a 180 antenna array that's located in Gakona, Alaska. Officially, it studies the ionosphere, the electrically charged layer of Earth's upper atmosphere that affects radio signals, satellite communications, military communications, GPS, that kind of stuff. And since it started running in 1990, people have been really suspicious about what's going on up there. HAARP was originally tied to U.S. military research. Its main instrument can blast up to 10 megawatts of high-frequency radio beams up into the upper atmosphere. In other words, it can heat up and disturb part of our sky. Officials say that this is just harmless science, but theorists suggest that HAARP has been used for years for things like weather modification, or triggering earthquakes, communications disruption, or even mind control experiments. Some theorists even connect HAARP to Nikola Tesla's lost Teleforce or death beam technology, the kind of weapon that Tesla claimed could bring an aircraft down from 250 miles away. And then there's this, a real 1987 patent from physicist Bernard Eastland, titled Method and Apparatus for Altering a Region in Earth's Atmosphere, Ionosphere, and or Magnetosphere, which describes altering Earth's atmosphere to manipulate weather systems, disrupt enemy communications, and even affect human behavior over a wide geographic area. Now, this patent doesn't prove that HAARP actually used this kind of technology, but the idea of weaponizing the sky has at least been around for 40 years or more. HAARP ran from 1990 to 2014 until the military closed it. In 2015, the University of Alaska reopened it for academic purposes. But some think that they still might be doing experiments up there, along with the dozen or so other facilities just like this all around the world.
2026 weather, bro, has been wonky, man. But remember, we had that big snowstorm, and we got this like heat wave that's going on, man. Let me find out, bro, the harsh behind it, bro. What do you think, Seekers?
Do we want to watch the World Cup on the front of our vehicle? What?
That's crazy.
This is so cool.
You see, when they start normalizing shit like this, you know it's about to be a problem. So it's a video going viral right now of a lady walking down the street eating raw chicken. She has a pack of chicken in her hand, and she's taking raw chicken out piece by piece, eating it. Somebody seen her, started recording. They even asked her why she was doing it, and she couldn't even give an answer. Matter of fact, look at this shit. Look at this shit.
Raw chicken.
There's a blue cat over there. What blue cat?
I don't know. Is that good? What? Does that taste good?
And you acting like you don't know what he's talking about.
Delicious? Okay.
First of all, if I say what I really want to say, y'all won't believe it anyway. It's numerous videos going around of people eating raw chicken. You just seen when he asked about that chicken, she tried to divert her attention to a blue cat. When you ever seen a blue cat? I ain't never see a blue cat. But apparently, she was looking for that cat because she probably wanted to eat that cat too. Paul, I don't know if you know, but you know how many diseases come with eating raw chicken? You know you can catch salmonella from eating raw chicken? But I guess she don't know that though, right? What type of normal person walks in the street and eats raw chicken? Tell me that. And then I want you to go back to my videos and see what type of people been walking around eating raw things. And let me know. Jump in the comments and let me know if you ever seen some shit like this before. I'm out.
Don't you let them trick you. You think all of them came here just to watch a football game? They know what's about to happen. See, the bad news is they're getting ready to transform and show their true nature. But the good news is, so are you. For entertainment purposes only. They need foot soldiers on the ground in Atlantis. That's why everybody's running to Atlanta. Don't you see how they trying to gas you up? Don't you peep the psychological warfare? Oh my goodness, this junky food is so good. Oh my goodness, your stadiums are beautiful, your land. You see how they gassing you up? That's because they don't want you to turn up once the game is over, and they stay. See, not all of them are what they say that they are. A lot of them are coming here just to be foot soldiers for when things pop off. They're slowly coming in and trying to integrate themselves. Hey, I'm not a threat. I'm just here to enjoy a little football and a little Waffle House. Is that really the case? Do you see what's going on? Do you see why the powers that be made such a concerted effort to clear out space? Yeah, they were making room for who they wanted to be around, for who they needed to be around, because the show is over.
So this is something literally insane that I just learned today. Did you know that your smart TV is taking a screenshot of whatever's on your screen every half second and sending it back to the company? And now there is a massive lawsuit behind the entire thing. This is literally insane, and most people, including me, didn't even know that this was happening. A lawsuit just revealed that major TV manufacturers have been using something called automated content recognition, or they're calling it ACR for short, but it spies on everything that you watch, and I mean everything. They're saying that this is how it works. Your software takes a screenshot of your TV every 500 milliseconds, which is twice per second, obviously, and it sends it back to the company. They're saying that of course it doesn't track just what streaming apps you're on, it captures everything on your screen. This means that if you connect a doorbell camera or a security system to your TV, they see it. If you cast photos from your phone, they see it. If you plug in a gaming console or a laptop with HDMI, they see that too. The companies that are under this lawsuit right now include Samsung, Sony, LG, and 2 different Chinese manufacturers, Hisense and TCL. Obviously the TVs that literally everybody has, but a court just granted an emergency order to stop Samsung from collecting this data while the case continues. The potential penalty for this entire thing is up to $250,000 per consumer for collecting illegal data. This entire thing is ongoing right now, so I don't have an outcome for you, so you're gonna have to add me if you want to know what happens.
That's why I don't have a smart TV seekers, man. And they name those brands, but like you said, those are the major brands, but everybody has those, so Seekers, if you have a smart TV, man, could be getting some money, bro. Because they watching you, man.
You can see one of 17 alien-based caves, which enters into what we are almost 99% sure is the entry point to Agartha.
No way, no way, no way.
This underground...
No way. So you're telling me, okay, what are the chances that, what was it, yesterday? I did a video on Antarctica. I'm like, you know what, hold up. Let me bring up all the new peeps up to speed on what the heck is going on with Antarctica. We talked about Admiral Byrd. We talked about Admiral Byrd and how he went to Antarctica or to the South Pole. He flew into a hole for TikTok or what? Satire purposes only. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. Entertainment purposes only TikTok. Everything's satire. Everything I'm saying is not true. I'm literally so hyped right now because y'all know what happened with Oliver Tree, right? Y'all remember what happened with him. Apparently, you know, he's gone. He's unalive. Some people think he's alive. What I right now want to talk about is the fact that this man was doing a documentary about Antarctica, the ice wall, all the things that Admiral Byrd spoke about, and that Admiral Byrd spoke just a little bit too much. So now he's over here studying Hollow Earth. Again, for entertainment purposes only. Please, please don't tussle with me. I keep trying to tell you guys that I think there's an ice wall. I keep trying to tell you guys Even though I sound crazy, even though I have a tinfoil hat on, I perpetually have a tinfoil hat on, right? That there is something behind that ice wall that they don't want us to see. Why in the world is there an Antarctic treaty? Let me know why. I'm driving down the freaking street. I see hungry people, right? I look on the news. I see wars. Y'all can come together for everything else. Y'all can't come together. I mean, you guys can come together to sign a treaty so that we can't explore certain parts of Antarctica. Only scientists and occasionally the Rothschilds, right? Or we call them the Rothies over here, the Rothies. If it's just ice, what you need an island for?
They hiding. I hear it. Y'all freaking out. It senses something.
Hey, knock it off.
Dog's trying to bust out, man.
You Android users, if you know what this is, let me know in the comment section. And this is for educational purposes only. Share this video with someone you love, care, and respect. Why the tech companies unalive the SD card. The truth.
There's a slot that used to be on every phone. $10 bought you all the storage you'd ever need. Then, it vanished. And the real reason? It's not the one you've heard. To understand why the SD card disappeared, you have to know where it came from. And it didn't come from a place of love. It came from a war. 1999, Sony launches the Memory Stick. Proprietary, locked to Sony products only. And panic spreads through the rest of the electronics industry. Because if Sony wins this format, everyone else loses. So 3 companies, SanDisk, Toshiba, and Panasonic, quietly team up and build a rival. They call it the Secure Digital Card, SD. But something funny happened next. By 2010, the SD card had become the default storage card on Earth. Cameras, camcorders, Nintendos, dash cams, and, most importantly, phones. Android leaned all the way in. Cheap base storage, expand it later. Samsung made it a whole selling point. They literally ran ads mocking iPhones for not having one. And for a few golden years, you actually owned your storage. A 64 gig card cost $8. You popped it in, you forgot about it. That was the deal. And then in 2015, Samsung killed the slot on the Galaxy S6. The backlash was so brutal, they put it back the next year.
We've also redesigned the S7 with memory that expands.
Then they killed it again in 2021. This time, nobody flinched. So, what changed?
Bro, it's all about money, man. I remember, bro, when I used to have an Android, bro, you can just take it out. You can use it to take out the battery too, bro. And the SD card, to switch it, how much space you want. And just upgrade it like that. But now, since they took that away, and you have to buy, like, I guess the 64 gigabyte version, 128 gigabyte version of a phone, they can just up the price, man, because you can't change it yourself. It's all about control, bro. The fact that those 3 companies teamed up, man, just to make a product so they could compete with Sony, man. If you break into the market with something first, bro, and you shake it up, man, other companies, they gotta find a way to get that money, bro.
Before Oliver Tree passed, he said that he and his expedition in Antarctica found Agartha, the inner Middle Earth. What is happening? Listen to this portion of the leaked documentary. Look at what he says about this. All right, listen to this, y'all. Agartha, inner Earth.
This underground civilization said to exist within the Earth's core was first discovered by one of Christopher Columbus's disgruntled cronies.
He thinks they found it. Look at his ears. This is what he showed. They're the aliens. Thinks they found it. And the elites are there. Now this video is allegedly for entertainment purposes only. There's no evidence to suggest that he actually found these things, but these are his words in the documentary. And it's been long rumored that Antarctica has all kinds of crazy, weird things in it, including entry points to the middle of the earth. What do you guys think?
As with wealth, in the world of secret societies, there are levels. Everyone has heard of Freemasons. Far fewer have heard of the higher, more exclusive circles within Freemasonry itself. One of the most fascinating of these elite orders is Les Neuf Sœurs, the Nine Sisters. Founded in Paris in 1776, the same year America declared its independence. This lodge became a meeting place for some of the most extraordinary figures of that time. People like Benjamin Franklin and Voltaire. The lodge also featured scientists, aristocrats, military officers, and political visionaries. The lodge took its name from the 9 muses of Greek mythology, the divine patrons of knowledge, inspiration, and wisdom. And the timing of the founding of this lodge is impossible to ignore. As this lodge met behind closed doors, the American Revolution unfolded, and within a few years the French Revolution would follow. Were these events planned within this lodge?
So then run your zip tie up into that.
Okay. This is the soda jam, what they be using at fast food.
Twist it. Just try to twist it as best you can. You can pull this.
They have not been cleaning it. What is that?
Keep twisting it.
What the?
Okay, now pull it out. Pull it over.
That is disgusting.
This comes from your soda fountains. That water and stuff, the syrup, the sugar, create a bacteria that eats on that stuff. It doesn't smell. Thank God it doesn't smell like it looks. That's green.
Well, breaking.
Man. That's, bro, what they be using to serve, you know, the freaking sodas at the fast food restaurants, and water too, man. He said that was all bacteria. Imagine how many freaking restaurants, fast food, man, are not cleaning that I guess the soda line or something, bro. That's what's going into our system. Scary thought, man.
The earth is going to spin faster than usual, and days will be the shortest. They said as of early as of tomorrow, the day could be shortest. It could be 6 o'clock, sun's down. I beg your finest pardon?
The fuck just happened in Venezuela? This is so bad. Literally 39 seconds apart, a 7.2 magnitude earthquake and then a 7.5 magnitude earthquake struck Venezuela. United States Geological Survey warned that the casualties could reach in the thousands. This is one of the worst series of earthquakes Venezuela has ever experienced since the 1800s, people. Obviously, this is not normal at all. And what's even more insane is the fact that a 6.9 earthquake in Japan happened simultaneously to these double earthquakes. I just want to point this out, okay? Because if there are two that are of that severity back to back like that, you can only unfortunately expect more to occur. Venezuela sits along a complex and active tectonic boundary where the Caribbean plate interacts with the South American plate, creating a zone of frequent earthquakes across the country's northern region. Not just that, but an area of Northern California experienced its biggest earthquake, like you can see here, since 1940. Lucy Jones, a veteran California seismologist, said that this was the biggest earthquake in nearly 9 decades decades in the region, which is not on a major fault. Keep in mind, just recently, according to a study by researchers at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, the San Andreas Fault and San Jacinto Fault Zone have reached their highest stress levels in 1,000 years. The Earth is clearly awakening, and it feels as if we are inching closer to a major event occurring than ever before.
Wait, what
Scary.
dimension did you just step out of?
Dimension?
Yeah. What dimension did you just step out of?
Dimension?
Yeah. What dimension did you just step out of?
Well, I've been here all along.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not like the back rooms or?
No, nothing like that.
No, you're just,
I wasn't invited to.
You're a regular guy.
Something of a regular guy.
No, you ain't.
Right?
2 years since the Miami Mall incident, and we still to this day have no idea what happened. Now, on New Year's Day 2024, there was this breaking story that there was this huge police presence at the Bayside Mall in Miami, Florida. And the initial story was that there was this huge teen takeover. But there were many witnesses who came forward and said, no, that's not what happened. There were these 10 to 15 tall, dark black colored shadow-like entities that were running around the mall. Now, what's interesting about the Bayside Mall is it's actually called the Bayside Marketplace because it is an open air market. Like, it is outside, and it's also right next to the ocean. So if something wanted to, it could swim right up and come into this place. Now, there was an individual who came forward that I was able to speak to when all of this happened. He said he was inside the mall before this all went down, and he was getting his daughter a birthday present. Well, he said probably about 20, 30 minutes before everything started happening, he got this very bad migraine. And it was just like this pulsating pain in the front of his head. And he said it was so bad that he had to go to the food court and get some water. So as he's sitting at the food court, he said he just remembered people started panicking and there were people running and screaming. And he could hear these strange, unhumanly like sounds. And he said out of the corner of his eye, he sees this very tall, skinny, shadowy figure. And it was moving along the wall. And he said he seen this thing turn and it started scanning and kind of looking at all the people running around. And it looked like it had a double set of eyes. And he said that's when he proceeded to take off running towards the nearest exit and get out of there. As he was leaving, he said there were just multiple helicopters flying around and there were people just panicking, crying, screaming. He had never seen anything like that before. And he said these creatures, these things that he's seen just did not make sense. So what do you think happened that day at the Miami Mall?
I think they're trying to tell us something is going on in England. What? Even look at that dude look like a zombie too, but I'm finding these videos of people dressed up as zombies, or I don't know if they really are zombies or they're promoting for something, but something is going on. Now, we all know there's a lot of commotion happening around the world, y'all, but something must be going on in England because this is not the very first video that I'm coming across. Look at this guy over here. Look at this guy over here. Look at this guy over here. What's happening? What?
Listen, now they might take this video down Tennessee. In Walmart, somebody bit somebody else. Last time they passed this shit or something else, somebody get into that, but somebody bit somebody else at Walmart, and then that person had to go to the hospital. They locked.
So that's exactly what I'm saying. Something must be going on in the UK that we don't know much about because they're trying to keep it under wraps. Remember, y'all, we don't be hearing too much about these countries. Without TikTok, we don't be getting nothing at all. But if y'all know anything about this, let me know in the comments below because I hear a lot of it happening in America too, man. Stay tuned for...
That's why you should fear for your life if you buy or sell items on Facebook Marketplace. 56-year-old Denise Williams of Johnstown, Pennsylvania, wanted to buy a refrigerator for her boyfriend. She found one listed on Facebook Marketplace. The seller was 26-year-old Joshua Gorgon. Denise went to his apartment alone to check out the fridge, but never came out. On Monday, she was reported missing by her family, and police were able to track her using her phone and information from a Facebook account. She was found dead from multiple stab wounds at Joshua's apartment. Joshua was arrested and charged with criminal homicide. When he was interviewed by Cambria County detectives, he admitted to stabbing Williams to death with a kitchen knife following an argument over the cost of the refrigerator. The mystery of Kate Yup is...
That right there, man, is exactly what. If you guys gonna meet up somebody to buy something like online from Marketplace or something like that, always make sure it's in a public area. Never meet them at their house or a location of their choosing, man. You have to do it in a public meetup, a public setting, because you never know what can happen, man. Like you said, they was disputing over the price, and look what that turned out. Never go to a person's place, man. Especially if you're buying something online. No.
Still very much unexplained. Kate Yup was a YouTuber who would make mukbang videos where she would eat excessive amounts of food. These were not normal videos. Kate was eating aggressively fast, almost like she was being starved or she was forced. She also wears a blindfold in every video, so her identity is completely unknown. But viewers became seriously concerned when they started to notice warning signs that Kate might be under someone's control. There are indicators that there was somebody else in that room with her while she's eating all of this food. You can hear him breathing in the background of her videos. She's eating so fast that in one video she actually chips her teeth. And when she shows them to the camera, these are teeth that are rotted. But the most compelling evidence to support that Kate Yup could be a victim of trafficking are the cryptic messages that she's left in the text editing of her videos. Since this all kind of blew up in the media, the channel has gone totally dark and there hasn't been a new video in a year.
Barbie has a much creepier
history than I thought.
I'm going to show you some theories about Barbie that have been keeping me up at night. And I cover all sorts of creepy and true crime stuff, so follow along. In 2010, Barbie released a doll that had a camera on her necklace as well as a video screen on her back.
Come again?
The doll has since been discontinued, but there's a lot of rumors about what happened to this footage when it was recorded. So people have always theorized that the footage was collected and sold either by Mattel or by someone more nefarious. And it's been mentioned how easy it would have been for hackers to collect and sell all this data. The FBI even put out a statement about it. Barbie also released and discontinued the Hello doll, which could listen to children and respond with over 8,000 pre-recorded answers. A lot of parents worried that these dolls were potentially recording their children and then selling that data, but this doll also has really concerning reviews. Like, people say that the doll won't take no for an answer. Like, if she asked if you wanted to hear a story and then you said no, she would actually push back and then just tell you the story anyways.
What?
And the doll would also ask really specific and targeted questions about children, like how big their families were and if they had any siblings. Was this doll just collecting market data on children, or was it something much weirder?
No one could work out why this child kept getting sick. So doctors took a look at the cameras that were set up in the room, and what they saw gave them chills. 9 days after Garrett Spears was born, he was admitted to hospital. Since then, Lacey Spears would care for her son through a myriad of illnesses. No one could figure out why young Gareth kept getting sick. Lacey, the dutiful single mother, would document his illnesses online. She created an online blog where she would chronicle her struggles and document her struggles to find a cure for whatever illness Garrett had. In 2014, Gareth, age 5, was rushed to hospital. Doctors again couldn't quite work out what made him sick, but they were able to treat his symptoms and he made a full recovery. Doctors were gearing up to discharge him. However, within a few short hours, Gareth took a turn for the worst, and without warning, he sadly passed away. The hospital staff were devastated, but very confused as to what had happened. So they did a blood test, and that's where they found something very disturbing. Garrett had deadly levels of sodium in his blood. He had been suffering from sodium poisoning, which meant someone was poisoning him. So when hooked up to certain machines in the hospital, there are cameras. They took a look at those cameras, and they saw what was happening. His mother, Lacey, had been poisoning him with sea salt. Lacey was arrested. She was diagnosed with Munchausen syndrome by proxy, and she was sentenced to 25 years. My name's Harves, and I tell 17 crime stories. For more, remember to follow.
This is some clout? People have to be better, man. When clout comes into the picture, they just lose all sense of morality. Never fails, man. Clout is one of the most dangerous drugs there's out there nowadays.
And shoot Geoward in the back 12 times, killing him instantly. With her son-in-law's body on the kitchen floor, Cynthia went on with her birthday celebrations, first going to a local cafe for breakfast, then to a casino, and finally to her favorite coffee shop, where she was brought into questioning by police. And what followed is an interrogation that would make anyone's blood curdle.
The hell made her do that? See how we're looking around?
Yeah.
Treviso case, if you didn't know, a lot of people that went to school with her are starting to speak out on social media outlets, and the Daily Mail just published an article on Saturday. So the headline reads, "She was a master manipulator. Alexi Treviso knew she was pregnant and had even picked out the name Alex for her baby boy, but hid it from everyone." So what the students told Daily Mail is that around mid-November, students already started to speculate if she was pregnant or not, which she was denying all the rumors. Even her cheer coach had asked her if she was pregnant, but she said that it was the pill, which is why she gained so much weight. But she obviously looked pregnant. I mean, she was actually pregnant, but they felt that they couldn't keep asking her because it was just going to make them look wrong. As in, they were giving her the benefit of the doubt that maybe she was just gaining lots of weight. And when the news broke back in January that someone had discarded their baby in the hospital, people already started to suspect that it was Alexi. So the students did explain that after the news had broke out, both Alex and Devin were gone for a couple of weeks, which they were able to put two and two together. And when they came back, Alex at one point had the audacity to write a poem called People Talk, basically addressing all the rumors that were going on about her. The reason they also said they couldn't just come out and talk about what was actually happening is because the school was threatening them if they were to talk, they were going to be suspended and not be able to participate in the graduation ceremony. She is currently out on a $100,000 bail and awaiting trial on September 11th.
Today we're going to be talking about a murderer and a serial rapist by the name of Mr. Cruel, who a few decades ago was Australia's most wanted and was also known as the Boogeyman of Australia. So according to various sketches, this is what Mr. Cruel looked like. And between 1987 and 1991, he broke into 3 homes of 3 Australian parents, and then he would bound the parents and take their daughters. On the morning of August 22nd, 1987, a masked man broke into a quiet home in the suburbs in Melbourne, Australia. He forced both parents onto their stomachs and then bound them. And then he locked them in a closet and cut the phone lines, and then he left after assaulting the daughter. When the police first heard about this case, they were trying to figure out what happened and asked the parents. The parents then said that the attacker came into their house with a gun and a knife and tied them in knots, which can only be known by sailors. So this gave the police a hint as to who he could be. But because he was wearing a mask, he was unable to be identified. The little girl who was attacked then told the police that he had made a phone call and told the person on the phone call to move their children and also called him a bozo. But when the police looked into it, they found no record of any phone call. This was just something that Mr. Cruel did to throw the police off his case. He was doing this to purposely confuse investigators, and that's when he went for his second victim, Sharon Wills, who was 10 years old. Just days after Christmas in 1988, John Wills, his wife, and their 4 daughters were asleep. And this house was a couple of miles away from where the first crime took place. Wearing dark blue overalls and a dark ski mask, Mr. Cruel came back. He held a gun to the father's head, and just like the previous crime, rolled the parents onto the stomachs and bound them and gagged them. He knew Sharon Wills' name and woke her up. He then blindfolded her, gagged her, and took her away, and fled the house with some of her clothing the next morning. By the time the father got help, it was too late. Mr. Cruel was gone, and so was Sharon Wills. But 18 hours later, a woman stumbled upon her. She was dressed in a green garbage bag, standing on the street a quarter after midnight. Because she was blindfolded throughout the assault, she couldn't give much information to the police. But Mr. Cruel made sure to wash her body and cut her fingernails and floss her teeth, so there was no forensic evidence available. He then told her that he was the boogeyman. But this was just the beginning of Mr. Cruel's attacks. He then proceeded to attack another girl and murder and attack one more. Running out of time, so I'm gonna have to make a part 2, but make sure you check it out.
I know if Amanda was alive, she'd be a Patreon member. Thank God for true crime.
What would... Here's the thing, I enjoy listening to some true crime podcasts. I like when they're mysteries
and there's like an investigation involved. I honestly like it when a journalist does it and they're in tandem with the family and the family knows about it, so they're kind of working on it together. Like there's a lot of good examples. There's Someone Knows Something, Crime Junkie, although not a great name. My favorite podcast of all time is The Last Podcast on the Left. They don't do all true crime, they do a bunch of other stuff too, but like when they do true crime, they're really good at like demystifying like these serial killers, like, oh, they did, and they're like, no, they're losers. So I really appreciate that.
Oh.
But anyway, someone recommended My Favorite Murder, and I listened to an episode, and I was like, no. First of all, the first half was just like 40 minutes of them doing bits between them, and I'm like, okay, well, if you're going to be a true crime podcast, don't you do research and stuff? They did very little research, like they infantilized like the victims, like it was just really uncomfortable to listen to. So I checked their Instagram and I'm like, how popular are these guys? And they have a lot of followers. And they either posted or reposted a picture, I don't think it was them specifically, but of someone doing a true crime party. And in my head I'm like, no, there's no way they're doing like actual victims of crimes. Like they're probably doing like movie things or like Sherlock Holmes, I don't know. No, it was actual cases of actual people, and they came dressed up. And one of them was dressed up as a pageant queen, like a toddlers and tiaras kind of person, like the full pageant, like the crown and everything, because she was impersonating a girl named JonBenet Ramsey who was murdered in 1997, who was 6. And they like reposted it. Like, at what point of delusion are you doing that? Like, that's genuinely disgusting. And they're really popular. Guys, again, I would just be, like, considerate of your consumption. Like, there are a lot of, like, true crime podcasts that, like, work very closely with victims and, like, raise a lot of money. Like, Crime Junkie, like, started a project where they actually identified 2 unidentified people because they raised enough donations to get the DNA testing for them, which was like, oh, it was amazing. It was like, oh, okay, you're doing something. Not doing bits and not dressing as like a child victim for a party. And Last Podcast on the Left does a lot of like alien episodes and Bigfoot episodes. Those are my favorite.
That's actually insane. Truly, that's one of the first time I heard about it. A true crime party where they dress up as the... Who even thought of that idea? Who even thought, hey, let's have a true crime party and we dress up as the victims? Knowing what they went through, y'all know the story, the background behind it, and y'all throwing a party, dressing up as them. Like, they don't think how that could like affect the family members and stuff like that. Like, what happens if somebody found out, I guess in their family member, that they're having a party and they dressing up as a victim? That's not funny. That's not even a great idea or fun idea. Who the hell even thought that up, man? People nowadays, bro, I'm trying to tell you, they don't think before they act, before they do things like this, man. It's crazy. Things people do, man. As a form of entertainment, we gotta be better. Everybody, man. All around. You guys, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, guys. Like I said, if you guys subscribe to the channel, hit that post notification bell, hit that like button, man. We're growing. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, I know we can grow our community, the seekers, into something special. I just need you guys' help to follow those 3 simple steps, man. We're golden. Like I said, man, we've been daily uploading, man, every single day, man. I'm planning to do the same thing this month. Hopefully, I want you guys to stick with me through the journey. Like I said, I've been trying to upgrade the channels. Like I said, tell me also down below if you guys like my new reacting style, man. As you guys can see, I'm pausing way less. I'm trying to limit it to 2 or 3 pauses, maybe throughout like the whole video, and just save my thoughts until after and kind of speak on it. I'll really only pause like through the video if it's like really important, if it's something I really have to get off my chest. But tell me if you guys like this new style. I'm trying to bring the best entertainment for you guys also, man. Like I said, send me videos you guys want to react to. If you guys, I know y'all been seeing, y'all don't want to see the same thing. So if you guys can send me the videos, that's why I say follow me on my social medias, because you guys send me the videos, I can put them, I can like compile the clips into the next video. So I need you guys to follow my social medias as well. I'm out. Peace, seekers.